And we're live, baby. Let's go. Welcome to the service, everybody. We already got Dank in the audience in the waiting room community. I like that. Coming in early for the broadcast. Coming in early for the communication today. Today I got a very special guest. It's my buddy Vandad Kardar. We do comedy together. We produce shows together. Very funny dude and very politically minded. A lot of theories, a lot of stuff, you know what I mean? A lot of stuff that I think is important for the community, for the culture, and I always want to bring him on so that you guys see what's the cutting edge of the theories, you know what I'm saying? Of like what's going on, even in like world politics and stuff. I always find that his views are cutting edge. I always want to talk to him and be like, what's going on? I almost think that he's like a fixer almost. He's like the guy that like, you know what I told him once? I was like, you know the movie, it's like those movies where it's like an adventure movie, but they all land in Africa, and they're like, we need a fixer, and they're like, get Vandad. He's like that kind of guy. And they're like, get the fix. It's like, we don't have any information on this. Get the Vandad. And then he can come in and be like, the Greek will never turn like this. The Egyptian will fight you, kill you in one day. The Paris, they will be finished tomorrow. Like, he has all these theories, right? If you want gold, you have to go to Nigeria. That's it. Like, he has all the theories. He has the maps. He has the thing. It feels like that sometimes. Like when you talk about politics with this guy, it's like he just knows he's you saw a YouTube video, this guy's 6 documentaries in. That's all it. That's what this is. All political, military conversations. This guy, Vandad, my boy Vandad, that's our guest today. Hilarious comedian. We work together, we produce shows together, like I said. Great comic. But that's what he's six docs in. We can call him 6 docs in Vandad. He's always 6 docs in. You saw like a little video about something, you're like, oh shit, this is crazy. You tell him, he's like, buddy, have you seen this documentary? Oh my God, they've been doing it since 72. The guy did it in 72, he got the theory from the guy in China. You're like, what the fuck? This guy does, he like, you're in this deep? 6 docs deep. 6 docs deep, Vandad Kardar, everybody. Let's bring him on, God damn it. Let's bring him on. Welcome to the service, baby. How you doing? Oh, hold on a second. I have to unmute you. And I have to take off our... Oh, hold on a second. No. Where did the... Here we go. Here we go. Look at that beautiful ashram, everybody. Look at that beautiful ashram. And we have a Vandad Kardar here. Let me just unmute him real quick and bring him on the show. Hold on. Oh, I have to ask him to unmute. I've asked him to unmute. Won't you join us, Vandad? How you doing, baby? Welcome to the ashram.
What an intro.
Oh, you like that?
That's so, I don't know if you guys could see me, or I guess you couldn't hear me, but I was just laughing that whole time. That was so funny.
You're that guy, though. That's correct, right?
They've been doing that since 72.
Yeah. But you are like...
Well, I'm not like, I didn't even finish university. I don't, I'm like...
Yeah.
I'm in Canada. I've served in the reserves, very, very minor, like, none of the stuff I talk about. I mean, this is just stuff I have kind of always looked into, but I'm a student of history.
Yeah.
And if you look at anything happening now, you just look at history on those regions or whatever, and you're like, oh, there was no other way that this could have turned out. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, totally makes sense, man.
It's like nothing's really a surprise when you look at the history. You're like, oh, there literally was no other option. This was for sure going to happen. Almost like most things are like 100 years to the dot, basically. Like when we had that pandemic.
Yeah.
With the Spanish influenza, even though the Spanish influenza was like 1,000 times worse. It was like a dot, 100 years, but. Also stuff like, there's the war right now in Ukraine, obviously. And, we think of it as it started 2 years ago. Obviously, I mean, that's how we kind of think of like the invasion. That's the full. But I mean, it really started with Crimea. So that's 2014, right? So in 2014, when all that shit was happening in Crimea, I was looking it up a little bit, this and that, some wormholes, obviously. But then one weird little thing came to me that it's not even like a big piece of information, but it's just so like such an aha moment. So the song, like it's in all those Bugs Bunny cartoons, like the orchestra, like dun dun dun. I think it's literally like dun 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 dun. It's either that or another just as well known one, like, you know, that kind of music. One of those famous songs, it's called Charge of the Light Brigade. Okay, that's just the name of the orchestra.
Wow.
I looked up what's the Light Brigade? What is this Charge of the Light Brigade?
Wow.
And it's from this military unit's battle in the fucking Crimean War.
I feel like I described you so perfectly on the opening. I perfectly described you. Like, this is exactly what I said would happen, and you've blown my mind already. I did not know that, dude. That sounds fantastic.
I don't know if you got quick access. I can Wikipedia it if you want. Like, it's like 1800s.
That's amazing, dude. No, that's very interesting.
1800s.
Yeah.
England and Turkey.
What's the song called? Tell me the song.
Charge of the Light Brigade, I think.
Okay, cool. We're gonna get that because that's got to be open source at this point.
Yeah. It's an orchestral song. Like, I'm sure we can play it. But I didn't really mean the song here. I'll Wikipedia it too. The charge. So the Light Brigade. So Crimean War 1800s.
There's like this epic poem I found. To the Charge of the Light Brigade, an epic poem from history. It's a poem that I'm finding.
Yeah, 1853, and it's Ottoman Empire, so Turkey, France, United Kingdom, Sardinia, and like all them versus Russia.
Holy shit, dude!
And they're fighting over it, and they're fighting over it 200 years. So it's like once you know history, you're like, like things are just gonna. I'm sure it was unresolved. One of my favorite things in the world is going on any conflict.
Yeah.
And going to the Wikipedia and going under belligerence. And you usually see such an interesting map.
Wow, dude. Belligerence.
Yeah. Like just the sides of it. And it tells a story right there. This case is pretty cut and dry, like European Central Powers versus Russia. But a lot of times, like if you look at the Lebanese war, like the Lebanon Civil War, that one is mind-blowing. You know, even the Syrian war right now, if you look at the Syrian war right now under belligerence in Wikipedia, that's crazy too, because you got the U.S. kind of at times on both sides.
Yeah.
So
so by belligerence, you're talking about like just a soldier over there taking it too far. Like when the Iraqi soldiers started torturing the prisoners or whatever.
No.
Not that.
Belligerence just means the groups in the conflict.
That's belligerence?
Yeah.
Really? I thought belligerence meant you're like. I thought belligerence is like I'm knocking shit over.
The belligerents in the whatever war, in the Crimean War, the belligerents are just the opposing sides.
Oh, belligerence.
I think you're talking about like you're being belligerent, which I guess is probably rooted in like you're being like fighty.
You're being like those military fucks that we have to fight. Like you're being like a guy that I got to fight with. You're fighting with me. They're basically saying you're being belligerent. You're being like fighty. You're being mean. You're being a dick. Yeah.
Confrontational or something.
Confrontational. Yeah. No, you can see that with the Chinese and the Indian soldiers too. When you see on the border when they see each other, they're like, you can see the Indian soldiers have to be like, no sir, please sir, and the Chinese soldiers like they're just like coming up to them, pushing them back. And just like running over, and the Indian soldiers have to be like, please, sir.
You should tell with the soy face.
Please go back for it, sir. What's that?
You're doing soy face.
I'm doing soy face.
No, not really. No, like I think you just meant like one side was like, that soldier.
Is it okay to do it when? Is it okay to do it when they're oppressing you?
Both opposing sides, but one is being belligerent.
I'd say they're being more belligerent, yeah. But is it okay? Like, can you do that voice if they're oppressing you? Because I told you this before. In India. They just on TV will do full Chinese face. Like they'll pull someone's eyes back and they'll do all that. I've seen them
both do it. We've both seen that.
Yeah, we've both seen that, right? Yeah. No, it's a big thing over there. This is the thing you're talking about. This is in the 1854. Dude, 1854 it goes back to, of course, dude. It goes back to. We've been
fighting over Crimea. By the way, there's no Ukraine mentioned here. No offense to anyone. There was no.
It was part of Russia, wasn't it?
It was part of Russia. Let's get that right out of the way. It was part of Russia.
Yeah.
And I don't mean it in the sense of like what's going on now with Ukraine, where it's like these parts and those parts and the ethnicities. I mean, like this was just straight up Russia.
Yeah.
The only people who are really actually native to Crimea, not Russians or Ukrainians, it's the ethnic Tatars. The Tatars who are like these white Muslim people.
Oh my God, dude.
Kind of like these Caucasian people, almost like those like Dagestanis and stuff. They're almost like Chechens. and they got kicked out by Stalin. Stalin basically like
because they're Muslim.
Well, just because they're a group that not specifically because of Muslim, just because they're a group on their own. Like anytime that there's like a group that has its own, and that's why the Ukrainians got fucked and are still getting fucked over. And anytime there's like a group that's kind of doing its own thing within the bigger thing, they're like, no, we don't like that.
Right.
It's divisional. So they put them in Siberia and kind of tried to like just make them like standard Russian. But,
man, Russia's so mean, dude. It's like such a rough history. Like you know so much about it, right? Like the Russian history. I feel like
I don't
you know
as
about
much as I probably should. No, not as much as like mainstay Europe, to be honest.
You know what I find annoying is like when you hear like right wing conservative like pundits be like 100 million died in communism, or like they'll just say 100 million people died because of communism.
Oh, that's a lot of lies. There are a lot.
I know that they're basically
like anything else, but there's a group that's like victims of communism. It's a very well funded, well advocated group.
Yeah,
and they fuck up the numbers because like what they're attributing to deaths caused by the Soviet Union, they're including the deaths of Third Reich soldiers.
Really?
Under victims of communism. So it's like, yeah, they killed a ton of Nazis. You're going to make them victims of communism? Because by all means, why isn't there a victims of fascism group? And then you got like 30 million there, you know?
It is like they saved us from the Nazis in World War II. And then we just turned around and said like, oh, communism killed all these people. Like those people die. Like how many people died because the Nazis attacked them? And then they died because of the war. Like, I mean, they're in a war. And they were attacked by Nazis. Like, how many people? Like, that's got to be like 40 million, isn't it?
Displaced and just died because they didn't have a home.
Yeah, they didn't have a home. Like, it is weird. It is a weird kind of propaganda to be like, see that? Communism. That's what communism does.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like, but first of all, I'm not taking a stance on this, like, Ukraine war, obviously. I mean, the stance, really, I am taking a stance of, like, there needs to be some sort of peace settlement ASAP. There needs to be, I haven't seen any diplomacy to really do anything. It's like, which side of the war are you on? You're either helping Russia's war.
No, they want to. It feels like they want to go to World War III. It feels like they just want to go to World War III. Like that's it. Yeah. Like they're dead set on it. It feels like the Americans want that, and well, the Americans, I think, want to do it. I mean, let me show you. Like it's really sad to say like how divided it is, but. Let me show you this.
Look, I'll say again,
clip.
Like none of anything I talk about in any way represents like schooling or any of my like work experiences. This is completely just, self-research. And earlier I was trying to say Crimea, like it's just that during the Soviet Union, they had a drunk prime minister, a drunk general secretary, or whatever they call it. One of them, I think it might have been Khrushchev or the Yeltsin.
Yeltsin was the drunk. I remember that. Yeltsin was the drunk, but he was a Russian. Drunks,
but one of them, basically, it was all the Soviet Union, and like they're just like symbolically like, oh yeah, we're gonna like Crimea is gonna be a gift to Ukraine, or like they're like we're gonna call it Ukraine under the Ukrainian border, but like it was all one country, so it didn't really. It's like when Canada says like Quebec is a nation within a nation. Doesn't really mean anything. So when the Soviet Union fell, Ukraine like got Crimea, but even then it didn't really matter because they had such good relations. Yeah. And there's a large population of Russian people scattered throughout the former Soviet Union, including Ukraine. There always has been. So
yeah,
there was no need for them to be like, by the way, Crimea is ours. You know what I mean? Because it's just like life goes on. It's just a different flag or whatever. But then after the like revolution in Ukraine, that's when things got like kind of weird. I'm not apologizing. I'm not making excuses. This is just like sort of the history. This is what happened. Russia was like, yo, well, what about all these like Crimeans who basically the majority like wanted to be Russian, like they considered themselves Russians, just living under this new flag of their neighbors, of their new country. And yeah. So I don't know, like that they wanted to be Ukrainian. I mean, Russian, like majority. So That doesn't make it okay. It doesn't even justify that. But then what does Ukraine do? And those other two regions, Donetsk and Luhansk, also like same thing. Russian population. They wanted to be Russian. They voted. Maybe the vote was sketchy. I don't know. And then what does Ukraine do? They bomb Luhansk and Donetsk for what, 8 years until this invasion. Like the whole time it's just been shelled.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
And those are Ukrainians, whether they speak Russian or not. Those are Ukrainians just dying.
No, but they're loyal. Like loyal to Russia.
Them.
Yeah, that is all the stuff that we're not allowed. That's exactly the stuff that we're not allowed to talk about. So check this out. Did I send it? I sent this to you already, right?
Sorry, I don't know how much time we have.
No, I'm joking. I'm totally joking, dude. We can talk about whatever.
No, you're right.
I'm saying like this is what we're not allowed to talk about.
In 2 seconds.
It's like we're not allowed to talk about it because it is seen as like that's all Putin propaganda. You're doing Putin's work or whatever. But check out this video that I found yesterday. This went viral on Twitter yesterday. It just shows you how divided we are. You know what I mean, as a community. Let's take a look at it.
Russia hates the truth that their obsessive focus on a Ukrainian volunteer is simply allowing the light of the Ukrainian nation's honesty to shine brightly. Next week, the teeth of the Russian devils will gnash ever harder, and their rabid mouths will foam in uncontrollable frenzy as the world will see a favorite Kremlin propagandist pay for their crimes. And this puppet of Putin is only the first. Russia's war criminal propagandists will all be hunted down, and justice will be served as we in Ukraine are led on this mission by faith in God, liberty, and complete liberation.
I think she works for, I think she's part of the, let me see if it says under here. I just want to say, I'm going to preface this with like, I really think, but I'm pretty sure she is in, like not Psyops, but in communications for the Ukrainian.
Wait,
like,
but no. Like what is this produced by? Who put this out?
She put it out, but from what I've heard, and again, it's hard to tell because it's like, who knows where
these
videos
put it out
come
as like a citizen journalist?
No, this is a whole series. This is a whole series of like PSAs made through like this Ukrainian army communication department. Like
you're saying this is official? This is Ukraine.
That's what she says. Like I went through a bunch of videos. This is like the most inflammatory video, but I went through other videos, and she says that. And one of the videos.
This is like why? Unless this is on a government of Ukraine thing,
It's
I'm not. Because this is very weird.
It's weird, right? That to be official. Like, I understand your concern. You're like, is this official or is this someone just putting it up? Like
this might almost be a parody. Obviously, it's a
I feel like that's what a lot of people are saying on YouTube. Like people on Twitter can't tell, where people are just like, "What is this real?"
Well, now everyone can have a blue check mark too. You can be anything.
Here, let's see if we can.
Look CNN.
How do we get?
Because that language was very, very harsh. I mean, if you're Ukraine and you're being accused by Russia of being Nazi, I don't even think Russia even says that anymore. That was like one of their earlier things, is that they're trying to blanket all of Ukraine as Nazis. Just although there is like a Nazi problem in Ukraine, that's been well written about for many years. But I'm not saying all of Ukraine is Nazis. But if your enemy is calling you a Nazi, and then you're using this kind of language, it's not helping you. Like she was like, what did she say? She was like, they'll be these vermin will be like. She was very much like.
They will gnash their teeth.
Propaganda.
They'll gnash their teeth. It is so like typical propaganda.
Yeah. That was like Nazi propaganda. Where
and this puppet of Putin.
The Jews they will take your children, Aryan babies, and gnash their brains out. Like they said shit like that. Like this was like real Nazi shit that they said. They'd be like, the Jew wants to steal your child and take their eyes, and like. This is very like
the series is called The Truth Hates Russia. That's
focus
right.
on Ukraine.
Sorry. Yeah, the language and then the delivery and all the videos are like this. There's a YouTube channel. It's got like 50 videos like this, and she does say at some point, from what I can remember,
also kind of Nazi-ish because it's so. Sorry, yeah, go. What did she say?
She says like I like it's just so bad to do this. Like this doesn't mean we're not saying that she's with the government. But she said that at some point. So it is just funny to be like such a total train
She's
wreck.
Also
and then
like,
be like,
they will pay for their crimes. Like, it's like...
it's
very authoritarian. For a country that's bombed your own people within your disputed border, your own people, or even if it was Russians, like they're civilians, you bombed civilians, and then now... you're on the... America's track record of backing the right team has been bad. Like,
dude,
whoever
so
back has been, like, not the better, typically, group a lot of times, and also has failed. So you're coming off of that. You're like a you're like a South Vietnamese. You're you're a Afghan National Army fucking Karzai. Like you're like some puppet current, regime du jour being funded completely. Like America pays all their salaries.
Yeah, right? and they fund mostly Nazis. I feel like they fund mostly Nazis. Like they fund not Nazis, but right wing. Like right-wing radicals?
No. Okay, and they funded a lot of fascists. Fascists.
No. When you think
you're not wrong even
when you think about when you think about like in the Middle East, they always have like they always fund like a jihadist government. Like in Saudi Arabia, they're Wahhabis. They're like extremist government. And it is in their thing that they have to spread it too. So the Wahhabism
you're telling six ducks that they're Wahhabis over there? Oh, you mean the 400-year-old agreement between the House of Bin Saud and the Wahhabis?
You tell six ducks deep? Six ducks is you are only one dog.
The legitimacy of the Saudi throne, the state religion has to be a very strict Salafist Wahhabist sect of Islam, which is the most extreme. It's the exact same thing that ISIS believes in. It's like, if they're not exactly what we are, kill them.
So did they give money to ISIS? Did they indirectly? They must have.
Yeah, like the official Saudi government wasn't like, here you go to the new state of Islamic State, but like lots of billionaires and rich people in Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, like all these countries, like not Iran, by the way, because ISIS would be enemies with Iran. Like ISIS would try to kill Iran. With the wrong kind of Muslim, typically. So.
You guys are not Wahhabis.
Yeah, so a lot of people funded that. A lot of people, paid for that to happen.
Right. Indirect.
Yeah. I don't know. This lady that's coming in too harsh with this, like, we will kill them.
It looks so.
The enemy. It's like, bro, you're literally like, you'll evaporate tomorrow if America stops funding you. Like, you're not hunting for anything.
Outside, you don't think so.
Ukraine is a country, and it deserves its own freedom. It deserves to be free.
Yeah.
Its people deserve to be able to live well. Of their own choices, and so Russia needs to leave Ukraine ASAP. There needs to be everything done towards that end of like, get them at the table, sign the armistice, stop fighting, leave. Okay, figure out how the terms work for everyone. This whole like, we will. Like, I'll stop doing the accent, but this whole thing of like, we're just gonna keep fighting, we're gonna keep like, we gotta fight, we're gonna kill you all. It's like, that's not like morally it's just not good. Like, fighting is bad. Stop fucking fighting.
Yeah, but also
like don't flex when you're being backed up by America who's like wishy-washy, like leaves people. Like, go talk to the Kurds. If the Kurds were like, they were like, hey, we want to stop being massacred, we're going to kill ISIS. They weren't like, now we're going to fight against all of Turkey and we're going to like invade, you got to chill a little bit.
You got to chill. I mean, it's so aggressive, and it does seem like they don't, what happens? It reminds me of like, because we were talking about how the Americans always fund, it seems like, an extremist group. It's like the extremist group is the one that will go do shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's like who in India, if you wanted to get some work, if you wanted to kill Pakistanis, you'd have to fund, or like Muslims or whatever, you'd have to fund like the extreme right-wing Hindus, and then they want to do that. But everyone else, like liberals, they never want to do that. Like, I guess we just don't want to do that. But it is like I feel like they support that because that's who's like pushing the fight, and it is like a bit of a blood feud that we're in the middle of now. Like, we're funding this like personal fight that.
I think there's something not many have said. I'll say, Russia. Like, it's not having fun in this. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, when invading countries come through, like the Nazis and whatever, when they come and they loot and they pillage and they just like Russia. Obviously, it's war, so there's been sketchy shit on the battlefield. That's not what I'm saying. Like, I can't. You got all these like. What I'm saying is like, Russia's not like. It's not like America when they invaded Iraq. It was like shock and awe. And then, like, on CNN, it's like, this new type of bomb that's being used, to quote one general, has a hell of a bang. Like, there's none of that. It's not like, we're going to kill him out. Yeah, yeah. Like, the way they came in that very beginning, they thought there was going to be some sort of settlement, negotiation, diplomacy, like, the next day. Like, they basically came in that beginning salve into the war. They came in, like, they had their tank columns just like outside sitting. They came in with troops. Remember, they're talking with the people, and that old lady was like, it got famous, the old Ukrainian gave them some sunflower seeds, gave the soldiers some sunflower seeds, and was like, put it in your pocket so when you die, it'll grow the flower. Which is badass Ukrainian babushka.
That's sick.
You know what I'm saying? But they just waltzed in like that. Like, it wasn't like tactical, take everything out, because they really thought, like, we
take
can
some
minimize
sunseed. That's so silly.
We can minimize this. This doesn't have to be a big bloody thing. This is all a misunderstanding. Look, we're fucking terrified because we got these brand new U.S. bases on our border, increasing every year, more members every year. Now you're on our border. Yeah. And we need to talk about this. We brought our military, but we hope we don't have to really do anything with it. It didn't work. The war's always been in these small incremental stages of, like, okay, going on. Ukraine is having the time of their life. I'm sorry. And the people in North America and Europe, Ukrainian or not, like, Americans, everyone, we egg them on. We're sharing all these Instagram of, like, the drones, look at the drones go, bah, 10 Russians, 10 like, it's always like, and then you see the comments, everyone is like, orcs, kill the orcs, kill the orcs. Like, it reminds me of, like, when Eastern Europeans, including Russians and Ukrainians, when they would get racist and be, like, overly pro, like, Serbian death squad. Now that it's like 30 years later, it's like ironic. Yeah. So in those, like, Slavic tracksuit Facebook groups, like they're always like, hey, like, because they're all anti-Muslim, right? Like, Russian, Serbian, whatever. They're all very, like, the race, not all, sorry, the racists among them are very anti-Russian. So they always go,
well, doesn't everyone hate the Muslims?
Kebab remover.
What's that?
Like, they always say kebab remover. Like,
kebab remover?
Yeah, they said the Serbians were kebab remover. You know? And that's
well,
how this
tell me
is
that...
now. This Russia-phobia of just wanting to kill Russians.
Yeah.
Orcs kill the orc. I mean, this is America's wet dream. This war in Ukraine is America's wet dream.
Yeah, they're going to finish off their enemy. Their long-lost enemy. Their original nemesis.
We'll fund it as long as it takes. This is the best investment we can ever make because it's killing all these Russians.
Yeah, no, Lindsey Graham, I think, said that. Or someone famous, someone like high up said that for sure.
One of their Congress or
I think
whatever,
Mitt Romney. Yeah, I heard Mitt Romney.
A bunch of them. There's one guy who's like, woo! Like, so I don't like that. I don't see that. I'm sure there's some Russian dickheads who are like that too, but that's not the status. It's like they're very sad about it.
It's bad when they do it too. It's bad when they do it too. It's
even like the Russian propaganda talk shows, they're like, so how do we do this? And they had one hardline guy who's like, just fucking bomb it. Bomb Odessa right now. Get it over with. And the other one's like, yo, come on. Odessa's like the most beautiful city in the world. Like, can we avoid that? Can we? No, can we? Let's try to. There is the war like Russia, but there's the like. No, it's like Russia too that no one's tapping into.
No, I think it's like conservatives. Every time people get into a fight, it's the It's people think it's a country versus a country. It's actually the conservatives in a country versus the conservatives in the other country. Like,
yes,
you have assholes. It's like we're against assholes, not Ukrainian. Like Ukraine. It's like if someone's being an asshole and being like, yeah, I just love to kill them. Doesn't matter what country they're from. It's bad. It's like not a good vibe, man. You just don't want them around even after, because like this war ends and then you got a bunch of jacked up guys. Like, it's not healthy.
You know, what's Ukraine going to be after this war? Whoever wins, there's just all these people have guns and PTSD. You think that's just going away, and they're just going to go work?
So, what do you think before we move on to Africa? Like, what do you think? World War III. Like, do you think we're just going to World War III? Like, do you think we could do nukes and go all the way with that?
Super amateur opinion. I think there's so much money to be made and being made by this war.
Yeah.
And there's definitely some countries and people who, companies and countries really, and people who are like, I don't care if everyone dies, the stocks are gonna go up till the last second.
Wow. Yeah.
You know? I think that's Raytheon and all these, like, there's just too much money.
Yeah.
They just want and BlackRock is buying up Ukraine. So maybe that's what's going to save us from World War III happening, is that the land is too valuable now, so they don't want it destroyed. But
yeah, like once they buy it, they're like, no more, you know, or it could be planned.
World War III.
Yeah, in a sense, so yeah, you could say that. Yeah, makes sense.
I don't know what the full definition is, but it's like World War II started before the Americans got involved. You know,
right.
We were Britain, so we got involved a little sooner. But just because it's not happening in North America doesn't, it's happening.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it does feel like that. It feels like the early days. No matter how rough it gets, it doesn't seem like anyone's backing down. Like nobody looks like they're just even close to backing down. The will to fight is just so strong in both of them. And then
Russia
the Americans
can't stop now because it's like, well, if I just leave and just stop, like now they are just going to become NATO. Like, you know what I mean? The American troops will literally be in Ukraine like within minutes. It'll just be.
Yeah, no, they're playing.
So it can't, and it's got its own people it killed to fight.
Yeah,
so
it does feel like the Americans are doing a real hardball on them. Like they're being like, no, you got to. It's like you expanded all the way in. I don't know. Yeah, it's too bad.
I don't think Ukraine should be like under Russia.
No way.
No, anyone's gonna accept that. I don't even think Russia's trying to do that. That's the thing, or expand past that. They're like, hey, I don't know about Crimea. It looks like that's Russia, I think. And then maybe these two areas, Dobonsk and Luhansk.
Yeah.
Maybe they become Russia or autonomous. And then as for like, I don't know if Ukraine will be part of NATO or not, you know? Or what the relevance of NATO is, or if NATO's still going to exist either.
Yeah, why? I don't know why NATO needs to exist. It doesn't seem like it makes sense. But then anyone from Eastern Europe says that Russia's would be beating the shit out of them. Russia would be fucking them up if it wasn't for NATO. That's the argument, is that he's a dictator and he wants to expand too, and if NATO wasn't there, then he'd be expanding. NATO's
like, I gotta expand, otherwise they'll expand.
No, but that's how all fighting is done.
I don't sell the coke, someone else is gonna do it.
That is how all fighting happens. It's like all fighting, people say, is like shadow projection, where it's almost like
they had all the countries and they fell apart as the Soviet Union and just went into themselves.
Yeah.
I know Putin loves the Soviet Union and he hates that it broke up, but I don't think like what is he like? It's not Napoleon. Like you can't just. They would have done it by now. I mean, they had all this time.
I know, but have you talked to anyone from Europe, man? I mean, when we went to that conference, for the European.
Most European countries depend on Russia, by the way. Exports.
They do, but Polish people are like, we want NATO. Like, we want to be in. They're pushing for it.
They're
like,
NATO. They are. What do you mean they are NATO?
They are NATO, but they push to be in and they want it. So that's what I mean. There's like so many people in Eastern Europe that are like, we hate Russia so much that we want NATO. We want them here, whatever.
Just putting it out there. I mean, the whole like, Azov Battalion and Stephen Bandera, the historical like Nazi collaborators in Russia. Because Ukraine, the Nazis didn't really have to kill too many Jews in Ukraine. The Ukrainians killed them themselves. The Nazis in Ukraine, like the self-made Nazis. But
6 dogs deep, baby.
Poland collaborated deep. Like right away. You know,
Poland killed what, Jews right away?
Yeah, with they just became part of the Third Reich like immediately. So I'm not saying they all are. It takes what they say now is like void, but it's like it's again when you study history and you just see all these patterns again and again and again.
Yeah, like
it's like I mean even NATO, like honestly, like the first general of NATO was a former Nazi. He's West German now, but he was a former Nazi.
Yeah, so they work.
It's
they work together. What do you do with all of them? You can't kill them all. They just got to put them in work on the other side. Like they just hired them all. I guess you can put them all in jail, but then if they're high up, like the military people just make a deal at the last second. They're like, okay, cool, I'll help you organize it all. Give me a spot. You know, like that's kind of
honestly, I'm being very ignorant. I just don't understand truly what the point is because. All these countries have their own militaries, and if they can have military alliances and they can defend themselves if war breaks out. But the Cold War ended, the Warsaw Pact ended, like the military alliance of these Soviet countries. And so I don't know what this anti-Russian military alliance continued for, and why it expands. And then it expands right on their border, knowing that it's going to instigate World War III. I mean, I don't know. It's weird. No, it's.
No, I do agree with you.
Someone wants it. Someone wants this fight. And there's
I do agree with you. And it is.
So it's not a big.
It is interesting.
Council Illuminati. It's just like there's money.
There's money. A lot of money, and like, yeah, it's weird how most people are on board with it though. Like, I know people, like people with corporate jobs, they get mad at me for saying this. Like they're like, what are you doing? What are you, Putin? Come on, man. And it's like, you're not even working for them or not getting any money. Just like people.
Yeah, we got attacked on my show. Remember my show last year?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. The comedy show.
All I said was like, hey, like Yemen's on fire, Palestinians are living in an open air prison, fucking, all this shit going on all over the place. No one gives a fuck. But then Vladimir and Volodymyr get into a fight in Europe, in white Europe.
Yeah.
We all got to go fucking the war. And some guy's like, you're a fucking Putin apologist. What are you fucking...
Jesus Christ.
Like, yo, what?
When the white man goes to war, everyone has to go to war. I mean, that's just always been how it's been, you know? Like, it's always been like that.
And like, Russia's always been hated. It's been hated since Napoleon. It's part of why World War II happened, because the Nazis and the fascists in Italy, both of them got to power because they told people, look, if you don't let us in, the Russians are coming. That was how they both got to power. And the rest of the non-fascist Europe and the rest of them all kind of supported it until they had to publicly say we don't. Like, until the actual atrocities happened, they're like, okay. But before that, they supported it. Way before he was El Duce, Mussolini, fascist leader of Italy, World War II, and before that, way before he got that job, you know what his job was, Amish?
Tell me.
He had a bunch of newspapers, okay? And these newspapers and him were funded because he was an operative for MI6, British intelligence.
Wait.
This is 100% verifiable, just history. It's on BBC has things on it.
Isn't Ghislaine Maxwell's dad like that? Like, he's a media owner and part of like the MI6 funding. I heard that about Ghislaine Maxwell's dad.
He was a big media guy, and then the rumors of like maybe intelligence, you know?
Yeah.
Possible. MI6, Mossad, whatever. It's possible.
No, it's weird. It's like you can have power.
100%.
You can have power with like guns and tanks, but you can also have power with like media. If you control the media, that's basically like having power. You can almost say like that's how Trump, I feel like, wins, is just pure media power. It's like he just takes he like.
The point was too is that his newspapers, they were anti-communist newspapers. That's my point. Sorry, they funded this anti-communist guy getting to power on the anti-communist ticket, and which is really the anti-Russian ticket. I mean, before that too, before they were communists, it's always just like, Russia, I don't know. But yeah, Trump media.
No, it's like media company owners can become dictators as much as someone who has the tanks, like someone who owns the media. It happens. I mean, it happens in other places too, where even a lot of times the military will take over the media first. But anyone who can get a good grasp over it is like just kind of hypnotizes people and gets them on board with shit.
Yeah, media does hypnotize people. I mean, you want to, maybe this is a good transition. You want to move to Africa, but the Rwandan genocide, radio played a big part of that, because they'd get on the radio and they'd be like, go to this village here, kill them, kill the cockroaches, and people fucking like went nuts because media has like a hypnosis, especially the further back you get and there's less. Now there's like your phone and this and a million distractions.
Yeah.
Who's reading a book? But when there was nothing else, it's like, oh my God, someone actually, like someone printed this. Someone has access to the paper, the ink, the press, delivery systems, the binding. That means this is legit. This is important. This has a weight of authority. Today, anyone can write anything, right? You don't know the source.
No, but I find that even today, people are very like, oh, it's on it's on CNN? Okay. Like, people do have, there is that instant, like, they have a suit on.
It's because that's what the media does.
And they're presenting it like, today, this is happening, so they just believe it. Yeah.
This is happening today. It's like, well, is it? Is it happening a different way, but your advertiser, fucking Del Monte, doesn't want you to report that in Guatemala? You know the name Banana Republic, like the store?
Yeah.
That's what they used to call Guatemala. Because Del Monte and this other company used to basically own Guatemala. And when they wanted to make bananas a little bit more expensive, Del Monte literally asked the U.S. government if they would do something about it. They're like, yeah, invade it. They invaded it for fucking bananas, dude.
Wow.
Keep the price of bananas down.
And it's crazy that like that store just calls themselves Banana Republic. Like, isn't that like is the term not like? It's like if a store was called like. I never
really thought of that.
It's like if a store was called like dictatorship or like coup.
yeah. The fascist junta.
Dictator. You know what I mean? It's like dictator. Oh, that's your store. Your store's called Dictator?
Like one of those Asian Nazi chic stores in Asia. There's like stores that like glorify like Nazi stuff.
Have you ever seen the Indian Hitler store and the Hitler ice cream you've seen? And you've seen the Hitler store in India too.
We did a thing on Hitler ice cream. Yeah,
Hitler ice cream. And then they had a Hitler store that had like clothes.
Yeah. There's a bunch of those in Asia. It's called Nazi chic.
Nazi chic. But they are pretty chic.
You know how we do cosplay and like people do like Japanese anime shit? There's I saw a Vice thing on this, but there's a group of there's Nazi chic cosplay in Asia. They like dress up as Nazis, they do like reenactments, all this shit. And now there's there's a Japanese group that's cosplaying as Nazi Azov battalion in Ukraine.
What?
And they're doing like, they got airsoft rifles and they're doing like mock battles. It's like fighting, and it's like Azov patches that they've ordered and paid like God knows how much for, and like. Wait,
should we pull this up and then go to Africa? This sounds great. Like, what is you can see Asian guys, Asian Azov.
Yeah, Japanese Azov battalion cosplay should come right up.
Ukrainian Azov battalion removed from Japanese. Oh wait, cosplay? God damn. Wow,
I mean, reenacting military stuff is big all over. Like in the States, there's a lot of military reenactment, a lot of vets, and they do go hardcore with the uniforms and they get as realistic as they can. So there's entire like Panzer battalions and shit. There's like a whole Panzer unit. It's like, because just rich dudes in the States who have tanks and shit.
Yeah. And they have a Panzer unit? So they have their own tanks. They just drive around in America. They have like a place they can go to.
Full reenactments, full kit, everything. They're the guys who Hollywood usually hires to do a lot of those scenes because they already have like the kit and like they keep it all maintained. And
yeah, look at this.
Look at Japanese dudes with like fucking Azov battalion cosplay.
A look at Japanese military enthusiasts recreating Ukrainian and Russian battle dress with astonishing realism.
And this is Radio Free Europe, which is you know what Radio Free Europe is? Yeah. It was started in the Cold War, and it was the American like government media to give to people in the Soviet Union so they can like, you know, get trusted news.
Yeah,
it's part of Voice of America network.
Radio Free Europe.
U.S. government like news for like international. But they target different groups. So there's Radio Farda. Farda means tomorrow in Farsi.
Yeah.
And it's the U.S. government's Persian language news.
Wow. And it's
Radio
good.
Farda.
Is it good?
I mean, it's similar. It's like BBC. It's like their BBC. That's what BBC.
Yeah. No, I find that like as much as what you're saying, like as much as
thing. It's usually they do give them a certain amount of autonomy and they fund them well so they can have. You know, if the story is directly against America, who knows, like what kind of oversight goes. But if it's just generally true and it's about somewhere else, they usually do.
No, I find that those news networks are actually very good.
But it has a bias. It's government. Obviously.
It's government, but I find that they're pretty good, dude. It's crazy because government media I find is sometimes better than corporate. Because corporate, then you're getting the bias of like a company paying you. Whereas government, there's like this shame sometimes where they're like, no, let's not influence it.
Well, even corporate, there's regional. So if you actually watch, I don't know if this is still true, but like, let's say 10 years ago, I was in Europe. And if you watch CNN, and this is when even American CNN was like a little bit more credible, and before the Trump era, everyone lost their shit. But CNN in the States, it's CNN, but it's like a different version. It's like the U.S. has its own version, and then there's international.
Right.
And it's different. I heard shit on there like it was more than 10 years ago. I guess it was during the Iraq War, but it was like all these people, these civilians got killed or whatever, and then like it was like locals tell us America did it so they could frame the people and justify being here. And I was like, whoa! Like, I don't know if I would have heard that on CNN US, you know? Like,
yeah, no, the side station, it's like nobody's watching. Who cares?
they just know if it's a smarter demographic that like is a little bit
right. The CNN
you want them to keep
like,
watching. You want
CNN Hawaii is probably way better. CNN Hawaii or
if it's
CNN
Americans, you can just be like, like
yeah,
everyone hates us because we're so awesome.
No, it's like CNN New York, Hawaii is probably good, and then CNN like whatever, North Carolina, South Carolina. It's you got to serve your market, you know. If that's the place.
That one a little bit. I think by country they kind of nailed it down.
Yeah.
As much as we like to think like these states are smarter than those states or less racist than the other, it's not really.
Well, they have like Democrat versus Republican. They basically pick a team and they have their fake politics joined with that team. But like that's generally over here how they just kind of like get the talking points from their party, because then that's the only way they can keep on interviewing them and all that stuff too.
It's like us. Like everything's center right. It's all kind of fake.
It's all kind of center right. Yeah.
Unless you're voting for Cornel West, baby.
Yeah, what a great guy. But yo, let's check out this this clip you sent me. This is great, dude. I mean, this even shows like the end of like American hegemony even in Africa. There's so many clips like this.
Europe, the West.
Yeah.
You know, all the colonizers, basically.
Yeah.
Kill the American dollar. You come to me, you want to buy gold, and then you give me papers. Then you call that business. No.
Oh, I can't turn it up.
And right now the economy is running on the
volume on the side.
false idea
There's no volume
of Nixon.
Yeah, on the corner there.
From being gold-based
just
to being paper-based. Okay. So Americans don't need any backup for their economy. All they're going to go to a photocopy machine and photocopy more papers. We are going to be reaching a time right now in Zimbabwe where all the gold that was stolen by the Europeans is going to come back to Africa. How?
Yes.
When we sell you our maize, we sell you our flowers, we sell you our coal. We don't want some damn pieces of paper money in our accounts. Gold. Bring it back from your reserves and
bring it back. I love that.
I love that someone put this thing. It shows the amount of gold stashed in all these places.
This is amazing, dude.
London, in Lisbon, in New York, in Frankfurt. You want iron ore and manganese. You want bars of gold. BRICS is a good thing.
BRICS is a good thing. I love that, dude. There's such a...
I mean, it's very interesting times.
It is very interesting. I never thought in our times this would happen, where we're like seeing this kind of like hegemony fall. This is another good one too.
South Africa is a treaty.
You said once when you went to Europe and like you saw like literally like just walking down the street in like Paris or whatever, all these like monuments and lampposts and bridges, they literally just have parts where it's like covered in gold.
Dude, it's so covered in gold, right? And I was like, almost immediately, I was like,
how is this? And you're like, oh, they had slaves.
Slavery, dude. It's straight out of Africa.
The gold. That's why they could just put it on their fucking streets. Like it's nothing.
Yeah, it's covered. And then, but then when you go to the Muslim neighborhood, nothing, dude. It's so grimy. The Muslim neighborhood, it's like rough.
Redlining. Redlining's not just an American thing. We just have a name for it. You know?
Yeah, of course, dude. The in France, it's like that downtown, dude. Like we met some girls. And even they lived in like they're like, oh, my hostel is here, and then we go into this hostel. We're going to a palace. We're like, what is this palace? Like, yes, it was once a palace of Louis, but now it is a hostel for girls. Like, it's just like they're even the shitty little hostel is like an old palace covered in gold. It's gorgeous. And then you go like it's like 30-40 minutes on like a thing. Like we actually had to drive through it and stop at one point just because we were going from monument to monument. It just goes through it. It was like, it was all black people, and it was all like, black, like, I guess, North African Muslims, and it was just like, no gold on anything. It's just old. Like, it looked like Scarborough, like in rough parts of Scarborough, you know, that kind of thing, yeah. But
gotta come back, man. You know, the Franco zone, like, you see all these coups happening in Africa right now, in former French Africa, not only, but, you know, largely, and they're like, look, like, you've just taken it for too long, like, You can't control us anymore. Like it
is like they're brainwashed. Like this clip I'm about to show you. This guy's from a BBC show called Hardball, and
yeah. Play this.
And he's basically telling this African leader like, oh, you would let Putin come to your country? And the guy's like,
play it. Let them see.
here,
Let them
let's check it
see.
out.
Criminal court. If Putin comes here in August as planned, your government will be obliged to arrest him. As head of the ANC, do you believe your government should and indeed will arrest Vladimir
If it was
Putin?
according to the ANC, we will want President Putin to be here even tomorrow.
You would welcome Vladimir Putin here.
Look at this idiot. He's like, you would welcome him right
Man
now.
who is being investigated for war crimes.
Putin is a head of state. Do you think that a head of state can just be arrested anywhere? How many crimes have your country committed in Iraq?
Oh!
How many crimes have everyone else who's so vocal today committed in Iraq and Afghanistan? Have you arrested them? Tony Blair went to Iraq and claimed that there are weapons of mass destruction. More than millions of people have died in Iraq and Afghanistan, and there are no weapons of mass destruction.
South Africa is a treaty.
He's just so
member
arrogant
of the
about it. Like the guy, like he's just so like,
Yeah.
here you go.
Especially when it's like you're like literally like, let me send a colonial agent.
Dude, he looks like he's gonna. He looks like he's gonna.
I speak the locals' dialect. You see.
Yeah. And he goes,
I took a course at Eton House on African dialects.
No, I feel like there's a look here where I feel like he's gonna be like 10 lashes, and they're gonna be like, no, we don't do. It's like, hello. And you would not arrest him. No, but when he starts talking about Tony Blair, like even these looks, but like when he starts talking about Tony Blair, I feel like he's gonna be like 10 lashes, let's go. 20 if you keep talking like that. He's so like arrogant about it. Like this is where he's saying like, Tony Blair, have you arrested them? Tony Blair went to Iraq. Look at this, dude. Doesn't he look like so mad at him? He's like, who do you think you're talking to?
Now you've done it.
Now you've done it. 20 lashes.
Divert the dams. No water for a month.
Oh my God. They have to be taught. They have to be taught. In my day, we would have diverted the dams. But today it's just 20 lashes. It's like something like so stupid like that. He's like, but yeah.
Freeze his assets. No flies list.
That's crazy. All the documentaries we watch about just colonialism and how they would, they just, it was just like mass manipulation. Like they were just down to be like, cut the water supply, then they'll learn. They have to be taught a lesson.
That's why all the Star Wars Empire is always British, because they were that kind of villain. We must make an example of them. Destroy the entire city. Yeah, they always do that. Yeah. Even I've seen so many like Indian documentaries, like colonial documentaries in India, and they would be like, kill them in front of the children. They have to learn a lesson. Something like that. Like they must be taught a lesson, or they'll remain savages. Hang them in front of the children. It's like there's something like that, like some rule they have to follow, or like it is like very bureaucratic. They would have like bureaucratic stuff like that. Like there's a really good movie in French with you can get it with English subtitles. It's called Days of Glory.
Oh yeah. And
it's the unknown story of over 1.5 million, I think, colonial soldiers, mostly from North Africa, who went to fight for France in World War II, and actually were the ones. This is now documented and it's kind of come out through this movie. That like they basically saved France, because what they would do is and the reason no one knew is because they'd get these mostly African soldiers to go in, fight for however long it took, die as much as it took, get the Nazis out, go on to the next town to do it. This is how France won the war. This is how France was liberated town by town. And then they'd get the ragtag remnants of a few white dudes from the French Free Forces to come in with cameras and be like, our boys have done it. Like, Viva la France. We've liberated
Yeah. It's like acting. It's
and
like
they just took all the credit.
Yeah.
The point where this movie came out 2006, I think. So after this movie, it became a big discussion in France, and France officially started to reactivate the pension payments for all those veterans. Now, most of them by then were dead.
Right.
But like, because they didn't even get the pension. Those guys who saved France from the Nazis didn't even get their pension.
Wow.
If any other countries went independent, that's what it was. Any country that went independent, like they lost their veteran pensions. and they started repaying it. But so in that movie, there's a scene where like they're in like a church, they're just hiding out in a church, like all the fighting going on in this town. And then one of them sees like the coffers, like where people donate money or whatever, and it's like full of like coins. And he picks one up and he's like kind of contemplating taking it. And his brother's like, "Don't do this. It's haram. Like this is a holy place." And he puts it down. He's not going to steal it. But then he just goes like, and it's not religious, but he just goes, "Hey, what did they call it? What did the French call it when they killed mom and dad?" He's like, "Pacification." "Ah, pacification." Okay. And then they just keep going. It's like this moment where it's like, we're fighting now. You're giving me a lecture about haram. It's like, we're fighting to like, free this country that like killed our parents, you know? It's like such a like mind fuck of a moment.
Wow.
Dang.
Dude, that's so sad. He's like, why are we fighting for these guys? But you know what'd be crazy is if because it sounds like the French soldiers are all just like actors. It's like the black soldiers have to fight, and the French soldiers come in, they're actors. But you know, acting is hard too, dude.
Yeah.
Cause you know, like imagine the guys going on break.
Propaganda is most of war, to be honest.
It's most of war. It's a lot of work, right? So like those actors.
What that lady was at the press conference. It's what she was talking about of the Russian side. It's all propaganda.
Which conference are you saying? Oh, the clip.
The Ukrainian press thing. I don't know.
Yeah, the clip I showed you.
Like they're gnashing their teeth. We will hunt them out. We will find them wherever they are hiding.
The thing is, she has an American accent. I think it's an American or something. I swear to God, it was American. Yeah.
Ukrainian.
The Russians don't know what they're dealing with. Like that's.
She's not a Valley girl.
It's like a Valley girl, dude. It's a trans person.
No, play it again.
Hold on, let me find it. We got it. It's such a good clip.
Replay. Tell us what you think in the
Replay.
comments.
Tell us what.
Hey,
tell us.
Find that it's a good time to talk about some shows, eh?
Yes,
Amish?
let's mention the shows, dude. They're all linked in the comment section. All the shows. We got like 4 shows coming up.
Comments. We got first of all, actually, Amish Patel is going to be on this. I won't be there, but it's a show we're running. September 28th, Revival 1863 comedy at Revival 1863 in Orangeville, that's Ontario, Canada. We have the two-headed monster doing a double feature, Nick Beaton and Hunter Collins, with MC Kennedy, St. James, and featured act Amish Patel. Then we got some more special shows coming up, but what we already have in the books is already selling hot. So we'll tell you a little ahead of time. Is October 20th in Kincardine, Ontario. We have a 7 o'clock and 9 o'clock Lovers and Laughs. The 7 o'clock is now almost sold out.
Wow.
It's still a little bit of time to get tickets, and there are plenty for the 9 o'clock, but they are starting to sell faster and faster. So definitely get those. That's with Amish Patel, myself, Stephanie Neely, and Jordan Brown.
There we go.
The 4 of us are also going to be, that's Bayfield. So that's actually good timing. So there's the Kincardine one at the Industry Room. And then this one that Amish just put up is the next day with the same crew, October 21st in Bayfield, Ontario. That's Bayfield Brewing Company. That's a special 1 p.m. show only.
Wow.
And guess what? It is already 50% sold out. So do not wait. Bayfield, that's Kincardine on the 20th of October, Bayfield on the 21st. And then October 22nd. Amish, are you available for this one?
Yeah, I confirmed it.
Yeah, October 22nd, 3 Times Cafe. We have Scary Good Comedy, and that's what we did. Actually, it was a coincidence, but when I looked at the posters, the exact same day, October 22nd last year, that was a Saturday, so we had a 7 and 9 o'clock show. Right. This time it's a Sunday, so 7:30, one show, banging it out.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
That's gonna be sick, dude. I think I was at that show last year. It's so good. It was such a good show.
VandadK.com/shows.
VandadK.com/shows. And all 4 of those shows, there's links to them in the comment section, all by the date and the location. So if you're in Ontario, come see me. Travel to come see us, guys. It's going to be, there's going to be some banger shows, dude. And especially this month in September 28th, we got Nick Beaton and Hunter Collins at in Orangeville. That's going to be a banger show, too.
Bible 1863. And that one actually doesn't have a ticket link. You don't buy the tickets.
Yeah.
What you do is you go to email info at info@revival1863.com. That's info@revival1863.com.
Also in the comments. It's in the comments.
For September 28th in Orangeville.
In Orangeville, yeah. That all four of those links are in the
Valley
comments.
Girl?
Even that email is in the comment section. Yeah, Valley. Okay, so you're picturing it as a Nazi voice. I think it's the acting that made it feel like that.
No. It's a Ukrainian voice. I did the Nazi voice.
Oh, okay, sorry.
By the way, to answer your question, yes, when it's someone oppressing you, you're allowed to make fun. I'm a quarter Jewish. The Nazis oppressed me fully, but like Nazis just oppressed the whole world. Anyone can make a Nazi voice. And I know that earlier you weren't actually doing like a ching chong like Chinese. What you were doing is like trying to do the tonal saying without words, like the anger, showing the anger of like the Indian guys kind of like, oh, and then the Chinese guys like, oh.
Get back, like, yeah, they're so mad.
Doing. Yeah. Which, by the way, you were also saying with your own Indian bias, because, like, who's to say that the Indian guy is just being nice and only the Chinese guy is being rough? I think soldiers on both sides sitting at a border basically are going to, like, talk shit to each other. That's, like, as old as soldiers go. They'll throw apples at each other and shit.
I mean, have you seen the clips?
I've seen, well, I knew, like,
I've only seen
a bunch of them fought and, like, 4 people died on each side.
Look, you know, India, like
bats and shit, right?
Even in India, they try to make it out like, no, we're fighting back. But when you see the clips, it's like, dude, they're kicking your ass. Like, they're just stronger right now. They're just stronger. But it's okay. We'll show some clips of that later. But check this out. Let's see what the voice is.
Russia hates the truth that their obsessive focus on a Ukrainian...
Isn't that just
you're right.
American accent?
I don't know about Valley Girl, but it sounds American as fuck now.
It sounds so American. And it'll get Valley Girl.
Who is, so this isn't the Ukraine, like, minister of... I almost think this is a troll with the wig and stuff. I don't even, it's like meant, because it's like, you know, if she is a woman, that's fine with me. But also, like, is that even, because it's like what she's saying sounds too comical to even be real. That's why I was like, I don't think this is a government.
It got big.
I feel like this is a right-wing troll or something. Like,
yeah, who knows? I don't know.
Put on a wig and like talk as Ukraine.
But they're obsessive folk.
I think it's like, honestly, I think people are that mad, and they just think it's
government of Ukraine. I don't know. It doesn't even make sense. It's American.
Yeah, probably maybe not. Ukraine assassinated Russian propagandist and admits into assassin.
I think it's just someone who's like marked as pro-Ukrainian.
Oh, here, maybe this will say. Okay, so Ukraine military has a new transgender spokesperson. Sarah Ashton Carrillo, an American who enlisted in Ukraine's armed forces, has stepped into the role of spokesperson. So it's Newsweek.com. This is official, dude. This is official.
No, but I don't know the source still. Like,
no, it's Newsweek. It's Newsweek. You want to go to the article?
Newsweek legit? I don't know. I mean, that's so crazy.
No, I know you want to believe that it can't be that bad.
No, but it's like the Ukrainians are trolling. Basically, they're like, okay, for the American spokesperson, put a trans. We'll get the PR points.
Whoa, look at this clip. We gotta watch this clip.
Ukraine is not really like very. World's changing, man. It's changing fast. I don't know. I never really thought of Ukraine as like super pro LGBTQI. You know,
no, but dude,
but if they are,
I think military people and a lot of corporations, they just use it for
use it. I don't see this is what I don't like when it's like it's just like as a prop.
Seems like it, yeah. But no, this looks like a real like, dude. I think like Newsweek is a legit.
No, I believe you.
News source. You know what I mean?
Crazy, dude.
It's just why it's too bad. I know. It just seems like so ridiculous. Like, how could that be how could they be actually doing that? But yeah, that's official, eh? That's official from the military. What a weird... Dude, you know how many Americans? It's like half of America... I think the last poll I saw said that 60% of Americans don't want to send any more money. Like, everyone's like... It's like we're pro-Ukraine, but like 67%?
Yeah, you can be pro a country not being invaded without being pro, like, let's have an endless war when we're not doing the fighting.
And pay for it.
Let these people die as much as needed and kill as much as needed forever, and we'll just pay for it. Yeah. That's not like heartless or like to be like, oh yeah, maybe I don't want that.
It's kind of 67% of Americans apparently. That was a CNN. I had a CNN article yesterday, but
it's like let's get one thing straight. Like fucking no one really cared, World War II, after it was fought and won, it's like we put this lens of like it's justified because of the Nazis and all the killing they were doing of Russians, of Jewish people around the world, of gay people, political dissident, like all these people, that they were fascist. But no one actually had any problem with them, and like in terms of like war starting until like way later on, like way down the line.
Yeah.
So in terms of like the Jewish struggle and justice and innocent civilian, no one gave a fuck. That's just what we put after it as like, see, we had to. That's why we did it. No, like, you know what I mean? So that's why America like joined at the very end, you know? So even that, like, this isn't that. And I don't think any war is really justified. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I
think
agree.
Wars get fought, and sometimes even like if there's two groups and they go to war and like the less bad group is in power and less innocent people die, like that's a good thing. But like it's just a shame that war is the tool to get that, because our diplomacy and everything else is so weak that we depend on war. War in itself is still always bad, in my opinion.
I think so too. Yeah. No, I totally agree, and that's what we always say.
Even if good comes out of it, it doesn't make it good. So this idea that this war is somehow good, that we need to just go with it all the way instead of ending war, is a huge problem.
Yeah.
I know it's comedy. It's like,
yeah, I know. No, I agree with you.
We're all gonna die. Come to some of those comedy shows though.
We actually don't really talk about this on stand up. Like I feel like this is like, so this is my podcast. This is what I do on podcasts though. This is like so much.
And I see what you're loading up, and it is all psyop. It is all psyop.
Yeah.
Of like everyone just being like, no, because Russia's bad, and that's why we gotta fight them. It's like, who's Ukraine? Like Ukraine was called one of the most corrupt countries in the world. It's got complete media censorship. It's been under martial law without elections this whole time. It had a weird revolution that was like, and weird coup d'etat that America supported. Like they're not they're just as racist and like usually homophobic and stuff as most of Eastern Europe, including Russia. You know what I mean? Like we're acting like this is like this democratic, like utopia, and it's protecting freedom. It's, come on.
Yeah.
Psyops, baby.
Psyops. Let's take a look at it.
Psychological operations.
Yeah, psychological ops, dude.
So what you're loading
This
now,
is
I told you about this. We watched it a few times.
Yeah.
It's the fourth PSYOP company. It's an American psychological operations unit, and this is a real recruitment video of theirs.
This is, what a crazy recruitment. It's like, so it's almost like the recruitment is like, it's like you have to find us, like you have to be crazy or something. Because they don't even tell you how to join, I feel like. If your opponent is of choleric temper, seek to irritate him, pretend to be weak,
Art of War,
that he may grow arrogant. Wow.
As the world watches and listens in horror, the peaceful pro-democracy demonstration in China comes to a violent and bloody end.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Who's pulling the strings?
Who?
Like, that's already sketchy. Are they saying they pull the strings?
Hiding nearby, whispering, do or die.
What a great song.
So, pause this. Born from the Ashes, World War II, because that symbol, but with lightning coming out of it, was a unit in the States during World War II, whose job was to just like, they were basically like, it was like actors, producers, like, you know, on movie sets, like all the crew, like the builders. It was like them and like media people who they got to do like actual productions to influence stuff. So they had these, the Brits use it too. It's a British thing that they bought, but they had these like inflatable tanks.
Yeah.
You know, so that from the air you could see like there's this many tanks, and they'd put on a bunch of elaborate sort of like deception.
Psyops.
Yeah, psyops. But like before psyops really existed,
Wow.
like It's more like, it's like Hollywood. It's like a very wag the dog thing, but opposite direction.
It's like those French actor soldiers that just come in and pretend they won.
Yeah.
By the way, Darkened Zenigma says, so far this is one of the best guests you have had on a couple of months. Very engaging conversation. Definitely should schedule some weekly or monthly podcast with him. Darkened Zenigma. What a sweetheart, dude. Thank you,
buddy.
CEB Applejack is being ironic here, but this is Amisha Putler. You mean Putin puppet? Ukraine is innocent. Applejack is like, if you go to his Twitter page, he's very.
Ukrainian people are innocent.
He's very vocal. No, but
integrity is innocent.
No, he's very vocally against the Ukraine war usually, but he's just being he's like joking. He's joking.
They are innocent. They got puppet. I think they're a puppet.
Yeah, that's it. That's innocent. Yeah.
Like, hey, join NATO. Let us put some troops on your border, and like, well, don't worry, we'll protect you.
Yo, did you see the documentary about the guy who he's a dissident inside of Ukraine, and they put him in jail, and they won't let him leave now? It was crazy.
Oh, you mean the Putin propagandist?
Yes, the Putin propagandist. What a crazy documentary! Because even while he's doing it, I'm like, dude, they're gonna kill you. He was like on his way. I sent this to you on the thing. He was on his way to a thing. He's like, I have to report to jail, or they're coming to come here to get me. So I'm doing one podcast, and then I go there, and I have to submit myself. And I'm like, dude, and I hope they don't kill me. If you don't say anyone doesn't see me, they have killed me. Like, he's just saying it in the interview. But he's just saying, like, the stuff he did, like how much people are against it inside the country, and like how like any dissidents are being silenced or whatever. It's great. It's on the Gray Zone. Incredible interview.
And it's what we're talking about. But people can always... Like, there's a way to get people with, like, a moral sort of blanket where there's a lot of people who are wrong about things, but it's in a righteous way. You know what I mean? It's like the right wing did it really well when you explained how, like, the name of people were like, oh, like, pro-choice or, like, anti... It's like, oh, I'm not anti-abortion. I'm pro-life.
Yeah.
Like, and people are like, what? It's almost like, what, do you not want to be pro-life?
Yeah.
It's like, and the left, both groups do it where it's like, you know, like, aren't you against invasion? Like, obviously.
Yeah. No, it's,
like,
or even like,
more to it, right?
Like, don't you know that Russia's homophobic? Didn't you know that?
Yeah.
They're homophobic. Like, one of our friends said that to me, which I love her, but I'm like, okay, well, I think
a lot of people
Ukraine, they just hear that
part of it, and then it's like, yeah, of course I'm on this side. Like, it just becomes such a clear thing for them.
Yeah.
So you can't really get upset because it's like they just don't know. The problem is they'll get upset at you for saying anything, like, even slightly, you know, not on the line of, like, what's supposed to be said, and it's very dangerous, becoming more and more dangerous as a comedian, as a person, as just like a, you know what I mean? So it's...
Yeah.
No one is immune to propaganda, like we'll see.
No one. Applejack, another $5. Thanks, buddy. No Ukrainian can be innocent while committing war crimes. In Kiev, citizens who speak Russian get jumped. These are regular Ukrainians doing this. Applejack has been like really looking into this, so check out his Twitter page. He has a lot of like articles and stuff.
It doesn't mean the whole country is.
Yeah.
Even World War. I mean. What did it say? A world at war? No.
You'll find us in the shadows. Oh my God, it's so creepy.
Crazy. Oh, then now they're coming.
At the tip of the spear.
Too much about Ukraine. They're coming.
They're coming.
You say your last goodnight.
Threat rises in the east. It's always the east.
Yeah.
Russian, Ukraine. You either hate China, or you hate Russia.
Dude, look how they go from the horse to the like the savages here.
And then a set. Did you see that? So it was horse, and then Humvees with soldiers.
And then a movie set, yeah.
And then a movie set, dude. And then now that's us scrolling social media, and then fucking drones. Fucking throwing a drone on some Ukrainian soldiers.
So crazy.
Some Russians. Boom.
And all the world's a stage.
A protest. We'll start a protest in your country.
Oh my God, what a mess.
And all the world's a stage. Wow, so they're just openly like, we run things, bro.
Phase of warfare. It has as its target not the body, but the mind
of the enemy.
Wow, what a good clip. You have to do propagandistic warfare. Let me hear that again.
There is another very important phase of warfare. It has as its target not the body, but the mind of the enemy.
Wow.
The target of psychological warfare is against the enemy's mind.
It is words and ideas.
Ammunition used by cyber.
TV. This guy's just getting blinded by CNN.
Its mission
The
is to
musician,
influence
even the
thoughts of
painter,
enemy
dude.
soldier.
Wow.
At the same time,
Is expected and
He can
encouraged to
deceive.
study foreign
Okay, so
languages
that
and the social
did you
science.
see that floating body?
Yeah.
So that, I think that what that's a reference to is, I'm sure they're not the only, this isn't the only time it's happened, but this is there's a movie, the movie's okay. It's pretty good. I don't know, it wasn't the best, but it's called Operation Mincemeat.
Yeah.
But it's about the true story of the Brits. So the fake positions of what became D-Day, the attack, before that, like the place that it was attacked, the Brits had a whole deception campaign to make the Germans think attack was going to come from somewhere else. And the way they did it is they took a body out of a homeless dude out of the London morgue, and they dressed him up and gave him a full identity as a British fucking intelligence officer.
Wow.
And dropped his body out of a submarine with intel on him.
Right.
It got washed up on the coast in Spain.
6 docks deep.
And then this part's in the movie, I don't know how realistic it is, but it's probably something similar. So what happens in the movie is gets washed up in Spain. The Spanish find it. They report it to their Italian overhead guys. The Italian guy, the spy, the guy who's in charge for the Italians, he's actually a British double agent. So he reports it to his British handler, who is working out of the British embassy in one of these countries in Spain or whatever.
Yeah.
And then the Brits know that the Germans have a bug inside the British embassy that they've just let it keep open so they can feed disinfo to. So they know that the Germans will believe it because it's the British guy handling his Spanish spy or his Italian spy getting the info. So that's like, for them, that's like a 2-factor authentication. They're like, okay, this is legit. And then they'll believe it.
Wow, dude.
So intricate. You can't just drop the body. It'll be found. It's like, they'll be like, this is probably bullshit. This is probably a trap.
Yeah,
But this guy reports it to that guy who's a spy for this guy who's being spied on by that guy. You're like, yo, okay, this is the real shit. We better act on this. And they move their positions accordingly.
It's crazy. Like, people say that when you're in a fight with someone, you're like, this is kind of happening inside of your mind, where you are like, your brain is like plotting and scheming of ways to be mad at them and reasons to be mad at them and like whatever. And it happens on an individual level, but then it happens on a country level. So on an individual level, you start making up stories about someone, or you start talking shit about them, or you're like, oh, you're hanging out with them, I don't like whatever. And then on a country level, you do stuff like this. It's like, oh, we're fighting with them, so let's send them a false piece of information. It does look more and more like, when you get into like high politics, it does feel like just dumb like family drama. It's just like, we're not talking to them right now.
High school beefs.
It's like high school beefs and like dumb. Yeah, fighting is so dumb.
You watch any sort of parliament, like House of Commons in Canada or whatever, and they're just arguing and they're booing and they're talking, oh, Mr. Minister, boo, order. It's like, it's so like,
it's
children.
so dumb, dude. And the main judge.
Children, and you're like, you're all getting like $200K a year plus full expenses, 2 residences and 2 offices paid for.
Yeah.
And like, you're just like yelling at each other.
It's so
when
dumb.
You represent me, you're like grade 5.
They're so dumb. Like, I don't understand how it's like the official. It's like, I don't understand how we take it all so seriously, because the military people do seem like the dumbest. Especially whenever I see them dressing up and like marching around, I'm like, you're gonna kill everyone, you idiots. What are you doing? Like, you should be talking to each other. Because on an individual level, we would never accept someone being like, yeah, I gotta go kick that guy's ass. Like, we would always be like, no. What are you doing? You're not 20 years old. You're an adult. You're not going to go kick someone's ass or whatever. And then, but in these fighting scenarios, like, it just get like the trauma builds up, and then there's just people full time, like, that's their job. Their job is to almost go start the fight or go like figure out how they're going to beat someone up. This seems crazy, man. That even this. What's that?
Yeah, just for 2 seconds, all the Easter eggs. It's just for 2 seconds. They're like, oh yeah, floating body. Okay, what else?
So crazy. So hold on a second.
and at the same time
is expected and encouraged to study foreign languages and the social sciences such as history, economics, and sociology.
Change. Viva la revolution!
Sympathetic
Brother, we have to fight back.
We have to fight back.
Might be a spy.
Imagine you find out you're like fighting a revolution. You find out we are CIA backed. Oh my god! Like you'd feel such an idiot, dude. You'd be like, I thought we have belief in something. We are CIA backed. Oh, now I'm depressed. It's like those soldiers that got depressed in Afghanistan. They're like, what is life without jihad? I want to fight. It's like I'm driving in traffic.
The Taliban, like 2 years after the.
Yeah.
They're like, I'm in office all day. So boring.
So boring. If I don't take someone's life, then I don't feel alive. What's up?
Yeah. It was this apocalyptic, like life or death, like battle for whatever, and like God's on your side. Now you're like, I sit in office.
Yeah.
Want to try the new pizza place?
Yeah.
The walls of night closing.
We come in many forms. See, back to the sets.
part of combat has now taken on new form.
It's like Joe Rogan podcast. Everywhere. The stage, bro. This is so crazy. I don't know. I wonder if anyone knows in the comments what subway station that was. That looked like an East European subway station. It looked like some Russian.
A feeling in the dark. Look at this, dude.
A message in the stars is a crazy one. Like it's like the drones. It's like, well, which way do we have to go? And then a drone swarm just comes and it just like points towards the weapon silo they want you to invade. It's like, hey, right here.
It's basically like
it's like message from the stars.
you're like a little kid and you're telling like an older man in your village and like, when will I see God? And you say, look at star. God is coming. God is coming. It's like that's like the last shot. You're like, that's fucking
like hidden weapons here.
Yeah.
Inflatable tanks. You see them just lift a tank?
This one, yeah. This is classic. This is classic.
No, right before that.
No, they're lifting it right now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's just inflatable.
What's all this footage is incredible.
The Tiananmen Square thing?
Yeah.
So the only picture I had ever really seen, that famous picture, is the guy standing in front of the tanks.
Yeah.
And then the sort of story I was always told, or what I think most people just associate, is that guy died and that everyone there died. And that was like, it was like right before he died or whatever. But then here in this video, in the little video, they show it moving out of his way.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's like, I was thinking about like, is that an Easter egg of them sort of being like,
we faked
it. Hey, you don't know the story. He was there. You know the story we told you.
Yeah. You don't know the whole, like, did he turn away? That's so scary, dude. And I also think it's so scary how there's more and more of these guys in masks. Like, do you see this?
Gloating about the Iraq War, the Saddam Hussein thing getting thrown down.
Yeah.
I wonder if that was just paid actors that day.
Oh yeah, of course, dude. You got to make it hot, dude. If you're the guy, you have to be like a promoter that day.
That was a very photo op, spontaneous protest there, where people just tore down that statue.
Right. It was basically like the Americans wanted, like, we need something that makes it look like they're glad we did it. So they have
their moment of like tribulation.
Look, they tore it down, yeah.
Or
dude,
triumph.
Look how crazy this is. So creepy. They have all these guys masked in the woods. I didn't even notice that before. Do you see that at the bottom?
Yeah.
Weird, man. What are we? Psywar.
Psychological warfare. Because it's a very hot word now. Everyone's always like psyop. Anything you don't believe, you know how it's like fake news. You're like, it's a psyop.
Yeah.
But these people's actual job is psyoping, which is wild.
Wow.
And then they're like, yeah, join us if you even know how to find us.
Yeah, I know. It's like, dude, how do I join it? I guess they have a website. GoArmySOF.com.
Special Operation Forces.
SOF. This is like a main unit of the army.
It's just, and this is just 4th PSYOP group, so that assumes there's more than one.
U.S. Army Special Operations Recruiting. Damn.
They got what do they got? They got Special Forces, I like how Special Forces is part of the same branch as Psychological Operations. That is kind of trippy if you think about it.
Army
Special Forces implies like the crazy commando, whatever. And this is just U.S. Army. America has like all their branches have their own thing. Like they all have their own intelligence and their own whatever.
Look at
what other branches is it?
Do you see this? Do you see the crest for Psychological Operations? It says Persuade, Change, Influence.
And it's like a chess piece.
Civil Affairs, Secure the Victory. This is like the British department. This is like
Civil Affairs.
Civil Affairs.
That is kind of a part of Psychological Operations too. You know, talk with the local. I just can't see some of it because the chat window.
Yeah, but can you see that? Like you can see the top now, right?
I see the first 3. Yeah, Civil Affairs. I don't see the bottom 3.
Hold on. Explosive Coordinates Disposal. Okay.
Okay, so the landmines, getting rid of the landmines and shit.
And then Army Warrant Officer Recruiting. Warrant Officer. Interesting.
Okay.
Damn, dude. The tip of the spear. The first comment is actually very smart on this. Hold on. It says, it's easier to fool people than it is to convince them that they have been fooled. Mark Twain. It's so true, man.
Wow.
It's crazy. Like people are like, once they're on a team, they're like, nope, I gotta stay forever. It doesn't matter how much you tell me. Like I gotta believe. I gotta believe in it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. So, So you said you covered it once. You've seen like Luhan and stuff.
Luhan. What do you mean?
Luhan is she's this 21-year-old U.S. Army person, member, and she actually works for this. Her job is Psychological Operations, whatever that is. Make your own determination based on that video. But then she has an Instagram, and then the Instagram is like classic, like American, like guns. She's pretty hot. It's like her in like bikini, whatever. And then, but she also like has all these running jokes of like she's just like always just trying to like recruit for the military, join the U.S. Army. And then people call her a Fed, and they say like this you're doing a psyop, and then she just like runs with it. So she's like, yeah, I am a psyop, like everything's a psyop, and it's like, is this just a person who's in their military and is just also making these videos and it's just funny, or is this like her whole persona and everything a job? Like, is the whole thing a psyop? Her account, everything, is the whole thing like, they recruit this way, they recruit that way. This is just another. That video in the corner is very interesting. It's kind of like the video we just watched in like a more hardcore way. I don't know if you might have to mute it just because of I don't know if it'll flag you for this
one.
It's like I don't give a damn about my reputation. I don't know if that's gonna flag you because it's a copyrighted song.
No, it comes up with the sound off.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. But look at this. Look, it's. I don't know if your viewers can see it because of our heads. Might have to move.
Oh shoot. Okay,
Can
sorry.
you see the writing? Will they be able to see the writing? Dude, it's wild. Like, it's all about propaganda and stuff. It says, like, media bias, this and that.
Wow.
Like, look, it's like, this is the media bias thing. It's that unit. And then people are, Fed, PSYOP,
OnlyFans?
Just, like, it's her being, like, fucking hot, the rocket launcher shit, like.
Hey, if you want to...
is immune.
I just picture being like, I like guys who kill Russians. Did you kill any Russians? It's like oh my god, what is it?
Well, the audio's off, but then she just goes, I don't want to do this anymore. No, I can't do this anymore. Which is like, I don't know, it's like almost, because she always implies that she has handlers. Like, I don't know, if you go on her page, it'll show like a really shitty living condition or like a cave, and it's like, they said I have to stay here for the next 40 days. Or like one time she showed a picture of her blonde, and she's like, "This is when we were still in testing, in our testing and development phase, and they experimented with me being blonde." Like she always jokes that she has like handlers, sort of.
Yeah, jeez, man, what a freak, dude. I mean, I can just see a girl doing this for fun too, you know.
That's the thing, yeah. Like, I mean, she's, you know, she sells merch, and it's like, she is just an influencer, like a psyop bunker, and it's like, it's just have a seat wherever. It's like all filthy. I don't know, like
that looks creepy.
She could just be a military meme, like influencer, but I just don't get, like, it's almost like you would need, I don't know, in Canada, it's like I've talked to you off camera sometimes where it's just like, look, I don't want to ever like say anything out of step as regards to like my work or whatever, if you're in the military at all, because like in Canada, like what someone in the military can kind of say while also letting it be known that you're in the military is like very strict. Whereas here, it's like, if she is just a regular person in it, how is she able to like do all these like it's edgy, you know? It's like she
Dude, look at this. Look at her things. She goes, it says, if you join the army, the short bus upgrades to an Apache attack helicopter. Turn that disability into upward mobility.
Yeah.
She's got the good sales.
Like it's like she's just like stabbing a kitchen counter, and then like the video comes and she's like, "Hey, boy wife, come here, I baked you a cake." And then the cake just says like, "Happy 100,000 recruits, Fort Benning." And it's like to congratulate some recruiting drive. And do you know what I mean? Like, is she a recruiter? Is she like or is she just doing it for fun? But then like at a certain point, like I think of it as like, you know, like in a Hollywood movie or whatever, it's like you either, if you see fucking Coca-Cola, if Tony Soprano is drinking a Coca-Cola,
yeah,
that means Coca-Cola paid them. There's money. Money moved hands. That's a product placement, right?
Yeah.
If they're not paying you, you actually have to block the logo or change the logo or change the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because then if you show their logo, it's either they pay you or you show their logo without them paying you, and they can actually sue you for money.
Yeah, then you have to pay them. Yeah.
But one way or another, money's got to move. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's almost
no,
like,
it sounds like she could be just a recruiter.
Almost like she wouldn't be allowed to do this and keep her job, or she's gotten full permission and whether they're strictly paying her for this or not, they like it.
Yeah.
They approve. It's like, it's either serving their interests or it wouldn't be allowed.
No, it's like even as a comedian, if you get a job anywhere, they're like, hey, just do make a social media. Huh, you're there. People do that. Like, there's like jobs where like it's just like a little job, like you're serving, or you're doing like selling weed or whatever, and the owner will be like, hey, do a little social media video. Well, why not? And so these guys, it almost seems like older military people are like, we can't figure out the internet, we don't know what to do. And it's like, well, this girl wants to make videos, let's recruit them. And then if it works, it works. Because this whole thing of being a sexy girl for the military, this is a classic move. Remember that Four Feathers movie? Where in England, I think, is it during World War I or two, or I don't know.
Oh, God, no. That's the, it's like in Sudan in like the 1800s.
1800, okay, so a long time ago.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
But they had girls, they basically had a tradition there where if you're a guy and you didn't join this war, then girls would come see you somewhere and they'd put 4 feathers on you and they'd be like, oh, you're a coward, you're a silly little soft boy, and here's a feather, and there's like the 4.
Yeah.
Is that what it was? It was something like that, right? Like
There's something like that.
You're a 4 feathers boy. You don't want to fight like a real man, so you're just a 4 feathers boy. Nobody have sex with him, ladies. Like it's like implied that like I'd never let you into my. What, I don't know, what's a military, what's a foxhole or whatever? Like, I never let you into, don't, ladies, he's a betrayer and a deserter, don't trust him. And they put something on you that, like, the whole community knows that, like, this guy's a deserter.
Yeah.
He didn't join or whatever.
So she's kind of like, hey, don't you want to, like, she says all the, like, there's one where it's like, you know, if you join the U.S. military right now, we can have Christmas together. And it's working. Like, she posts, like, DMs that, like, so many dudes have been like, I joined because of you, and all these bases and shit, there's like shrines to her, and in all their group chats, they're like, do it for her.
Yeah. Dude, look, she blurred out her feet on this one. Can you see it?
Yeah, that's so funny.
She blurred out her feet. So what is she saying? That her feet are too sexy?
She is funny. Like, she's hilarious. It's like, yeah, I don't know. That's so dumb.
What a mess.
I think it shows them in one of them. Is it the last one? Or there's a video.
But it's just almost like it's like so people are like, well, what do I do to get the feet? I gotta go to OnlyFans. Oh man, it's probably like
she doesn't have an OnlyFans. She doesn't have an OnlyFans.
Oh, she doesn't have the OnlyFans.
No. In that one, it's like she's posting all the DM or the comments. So it's like Fed, Psyop, and then like OnlyFans ?
Yeah. This is nice. This is how it feels to spread misinformation. So silly. What a silly girl. Russia said you a bitch. I wouldn't take that if it was me, gang.
That's like a U.S. Army recruitment.
Oh my god,
dude.
Classic four feathers. It's a classic four feathers. Dude, so wait. U.S. Army sends, this is their automatic messenger, you think?
No. I think someone just sent that to them.
It's a joke. Like someone screenshotted it. No, dude, this is from them. But someone screenshot it's fake. It's fake. Because it's their...
I don't know, dude. That's what I'm saying.
I guess, you know what?
It's so mismatched where it's like, what's the joke? What's the psyop? Like, does she work psyop jobs and then also do this as a side project they approve of? Side money. Look, NSA cell phone station, cell charging station. What does it say? Like, you want to. That's funny because it's like, would you trust the NSA phone charging station? Would you plug that into your phone?
You want to try it.
You want to try it.
Intelligence careers. Cell phone charging station. You want to try it. That's so silly, dude. Everyone hates on the government, but I do shit that's way worse. What do you do?
That's crazy. And she's wearing the pirate insignia. Like, that's like the classic. It was like Redbeard or Blackbeard or one of those guys. That was his thing.
Wow.
Like, half the time it's just like, I'm just a 20-year-old girl. Like, I like you, whatever. But
what is this? Luhan? What's Luhan?
Luhan. That's her name.
Oh, Luhan.
I think it's pronounced Luhan, but yeah.
Secret Tactical Division. Luhan STD. My loads out plus gear tour. This can't be allowed by the U.S. government to have her boobs like that. What are you doing? And
I mean, she's not naked. That's just her. I mean, it's America, baby.
She looks like too small for the gun. Dude, can you imagine being dude, how many horny 20-year-olds are like, I'll fight for you, Luhan. I love you.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it works.
Oh my god.
I don't know. It's very interesting. I think generally, I mean, they're low on people. All the Western nations are like very low right now.
So they got to try shit.
This isn't state secrets. It's just like they're all recruiting. They all say it openly in all the media.
Yeah.
Germany, U.S., Canada. I'm sure like they're just like, we need people. It's not really an attractive.
Well, didn't Canada open up to like you can have blue hair, you can have like nails.
Yeah, we let people have any kind of hair now, and which is good. Long hair. I mean, these are all stupid things.
Yeah, no, totally.
No, but it's not enough. I mean, one thing is like, I wonder what you think about this. Like, so we let in PRs now.
PRs,
right? Permanent residents.
Yeah.
Which is very forward thinking and good. Now, I don't know anything official about if it's working, if a lot of people are joining. I did just as a regular, just Canadian, and also immigrant myself, and just someone who has a lot of friends who are specifically PRs. I don't know too much about it, but my only question, my thought was because we came to Canada as political refugees. We were literally refugees, and when I say that, I mean I was 6 months old. So
wow.
I say my family. But that's how that's the status I got to Canada as. But I've known a lot of friends who are PRs, and I don't know if I'm sure there's lots of PRs for different reasons, but the ones I knew, they're the ones who are doing the student visa, and then they go to school here, and then that gives them a window to work here for a bit, and then if they work here for a bit for 2 years, 3 years, they can get the points they need and become a PR, right? And that process, to be able to come to Canada as a foreign student, Canada, you know, the universities here charge you like triple. It's like it's like $30K a year or something. Like I think my friend, this like a while ago, but yeah, 5, 10, maybe longer years ago, he was like, yeah, his parents, they're like upper class where they're from in Guatemala, but like if they converted everything, they could like maybe scrap a condo together here. You know, it's not it doesn't translate to the same.
Yeah.
Your lifestyle would go way down. But like they said over the 5, 6, I think it took them 5 years to do university, they spent about $250K. Okay. And like, I just don't know. Like, I know them and a lot of people like that. I'm sure a lot of Indians like that. Like, they got the money enough in India to send their kid over, spend about $250K on education. Are they then going to be okay with them taking a job that starts at like $30K, $40K?
They're not going to take a job that starts at $30K. They're going to maybe...
It doesn't make sense. Like, you came all this way. You fucking made all this sacrifice. Your whole family's, like, put the farm...
Well, the last generation of people from India weren't doing $30K jobs. They're coming out. They're getting the MBA. They're doing the doctor, lawyer, something. And they're going to be $80,000, $120,000 a year. I mean, maybe starting at 80, moving up quick. But they're very ambitious, the last generation. This generation, my mom keeps saying, so lazy. And you know, even there's like a homeless shelter by my mom's house. They give out food. And she's like, so many Indian. Every time, yeah. She's like, it's like half Indian now. She used to be like, she used to be able to drive by.
Anyone of any group for needing that, like the way food prices and stuff, all prices in Canada, housing, everything.
Yeah.
Crazy, but that's what I mean. It's like
she used to be so proud about how like only white
that
people
were letting PRs in. I just wonder how much numbers we're gonna get, only because the fact that like PRs aren't like refugees, like they'll come in and they're kind of starting at the bottom.
Yeah,
I don't know for sure. I could be wrong, but if you're PR, you already like have a job in a certain sector, because you can't just be like, I want to be a PR and only work at Tim Hortons. Like you need like relevant experience in a field that's in a certain category, so that you're like useful to Canada.
No, I think you can just come as a student, because I think we just need bodies. So we just want
the student visa.
The student visas,
if you graduate, then you get a job and you start working for a few years. Then there's all these points you need to get your PR, and the more like different brackets. Like if your job is like in a certain sector, you get way more points.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, like. I just don't really see like which of that class of immigrants.
I think Pierre Polyev put a video up where it was a bunch of immigrants being like, Canada is not worth it anymore. Why come here? It's not worth it. We're losing money. It's not a good life. Yeah, it's true. I mean, it's
because they're like, I worked all my life to like be able to like immigrate to Canada for the opportunity, and they're like, it costs so much, I can't even.
Yeah, but do you think that's
Trudeau? Can't buy a house, can't do anything.
Do you think that's Trudeau's fault? Or do you think the Conservatives have just done a good job of blaming him?
Oh, man, it's way bigger than Trudeau. It's the real estate situation is insane. It's just been like all the governments over the last, like, it's been like a 30, 40-year problem.
No, but I got to say, like the Conservatives, I think, would have been quicker on building houses. That does make sense. I feel like the Liberals
were all the houses built during Harper?
They weren't built.
This honestly has nothing to do with either of them. First of all Canadian politics are literally center right.
They're all the same, yeah.
But none of them, they've both taken all the turns in power. None of them have done anything to build houses. We haven't been building people talk shit about those old school Soviet designs of those like big apartment blocks.
Yeah.
Right? And they weren't the best, like, maintained, especially post-Soviet Union. But even during, maybe they weren't all maintained super well. But, like, first, in, like, places like Germany and a few other places, they're renovating them and, like, making them nice. There's that. But those were very efficient. That was, like, the state building just tons of housing. And the reason it's efficient, too, is, like, those complexes aren't just apartments. It's, like, a kindergarten, a school, a high school, the market, train terminal, offices, and then the housing, like built like as a state funded thing.
Wow.
We haven't had anything like that for years in Canada.
That's Russian? That's Russian?
It's Soviet design. Yeah, all those apartments, now they're all like grayed out and like dilapidated. So people are like, you know, they're like, they show it in like a horrific lens, but like if you that is very smart if you maintain that kind of housing. It is like,
yeah,
you know, like in Singapore, even rich people, 80% of Singapore, their housing is through the state.
Yeah.
There's a state housing thing that anyone can access. That's why they have like basically no homelessness. And Singapore is a very like authoritarian, it's capitalist, so we like them, but they're very authoritarian, one party. You can't talk shit about the government. You will get in trouble. If you're smoking drugs like weed, you're like in trouble. You can't litter, right? They have their like sort of thing, but it's a balancing act. But 80% of people, their homes are paid for by the state.
Wow.
Even when you, and they're nice. So even when you make money, you have money, you still might stay there. There's people who.
Wow. It's like Singapore. Yeah, I heard Singapore's like a golden place, like a perfect, like a paradise.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, if you consider like not being able to have freedom of expression, paradise, like it's.
What expression are they blocking? Isn't it just like?
Well, you can't criticize the government in any way.
Right.
Period.
Okay.
And there's no other part. There's one party. There's no. It's not democracy.
Don't they have the Sikh bodyguards there? Like they have the Sikh people in the police or the bodyguards or something like that. Like they had a bunch of.
Well,
Sikh...
anyone can work anything.
No, but I thought there was like a large contingent of Sikhs there in like security positions.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can almost say that's like anywhere Sikhs are. There's like a lot of.
Yeah,
like,
they get into security. Yeah.
The Brits call them a martial. There's that martial race theory.
Yeah.
Oh, but like which is skewed, but like they're like a warrior. Being warriors is like in their culture, so like often they'll be in militaries and stuff.
Yeah, no.
It's not strictly Sikh, if that's what you mean. There's no like, but.
No, I just saw a lot.
It was a very diverse place. Lots of Indians.
Right. Okay, yeah.
Lots of
No, I've heard Singapore is the shit, man. I gotta check it out.
It's cool. I want to go. I want to visit. I just meant it's like it's authoritarian in some ways or whatever. There's this and that, but then they also do that right. We don't build houses on our public housing thing hasn't really been a thing since like the 80s. So that's a lot of conservatives and liberals. Like it's not like a Trudeau thing. Like in 8 years, housing didn't just collapse in Canada because of 8-9 years. It's been like there's been no incentives, no public paid for projects, and there's no incentives. Why would real estate developers build like cheap, affordable mass housing?
What do you think of rent control? Because I talk to people who make it.
I love it.
Because a lot of people say that like it'll just destroy the whole society.
What are you talking about? We have it in Canada. We have it in a lot of, not everywhere in Canada, but we have it in a lot of places.
Yeah, a lot of places have it, and you feel like it's fine.
Destroy society? No.
I get that a lot. I've heard that from a lot of people where it's people who own real estate.
Yeah, of course.
It's like people who own real estate are like rent control will destroy everything. Like it'll,
No, but why would you even think it was true? What did Trudeau have to do with it? We just don't have like houses built in Canada. Period. Like it's we have so much more and more population.
Yeah. And
the houses that do exist are just like exorbitant. Like the real estate just keeps going up. It's just greed. The problem is that most of our like I think it's the third biggest source of our whole GDP is lending and leasing. So just rent, basically.
Yeah.
Sorry, renting and leasing. And the second, I think, is real estate. Yeah. It's the fact that that's become a job. That's become one of the only ways to actually make money is to get your startup house and rent it. Then you leverage that for a second one.
It's crazy that those people say that housing, like that will destroy the market, like the rent control, because it does seem like
the market.
These guys buy and sell real estate. They make a ton of money and that like drives up the cost. Like that kind of destroys the market maybe.
I don't even blame them because a lot of them started out very small. It's the problem is that that's like one of the only ways to make it. And it's become a commodity. The fact that housing, the way we think of it as a society here, is that housing is a commodity.
Yeah.
It's an asset. It's a product.
It's an investment.
Being sold in the market over and over again.
Yeah.
Where it's like, no, this is shelter for humans to live. And then they do all the other things in their life. Their other jobs, their other fulfillment, whatever. It's literally become like, it's one of the only, because the average university job, this is the whole thing of the guy being like, you can't make it in Canada. What's the point of coming in Canada? Because you get a university job I mean, you get a university degree, and like, what job are you getting? You're not making 200K, 300K out the bag from an average university degree, a bachelor's. You're not making it, so you're not going to afford a house. So like, one of the only ways is like, okay, I can get a mortgage, get the house, do the flip, and make some money.
Yeah. No, it is actually a big problem. I saw an economics video about how Canada, like one of the big problems here is that we're not creating any new products or any new valuable thing. We're just kind of buying and selling real estate to each other. And it just keeps on inflating the cost of it.
So you can't, it's getting to the point where like people can't, it's become like I have to work constantly just to afford rent, just to live. Whereas like, no, you should be having a pretty secure way of living. You work so that you earn money so that you can do all the other things in life, self-fulfillment, have a family. No one's having families. I'm 35.
Yeah.
No one in our generation is really having families.
No one has a family, eh? Yeah, it's true. Like basically,
a few of our friends do, but like they're not buying a house anytime soon.
No, you can't.
They're not doing it like from a position of wealth. They're just doing it, and that's cool. I actually kind of like want one. I used to think I have to be successful first. Now I'm thinking having a kid might be what actually makes me successful.
Yeah. No. It does seem like I do find it very cool when people just have kids and they're poor and I'm like, good for you, man. Just like fuck it, like just have a kid. Just the kid will learn more shit. The kid will like, you just take him to wherever you got to take him on the bus, take him where you got to go, and the kid doesn't know. They're happy, like they're just happy. They're like growing up with maybe a tougher life, but then they'll grow up and work harder maybe or something, or appreciate it or whatever it is. It doesn't mean their quality of life is worse.
The idea of Canada that we had our whole lives of like, you're going to have a house and raise a family. Ooh, like that's like that's so beyond most people's like possibilities right now.
Yeah.
That it's like a Hallmark movie. And then what, like, I never had a cottage growing up. A lot of my friends' families did. I've been lucky enough to go to cottages and stuff. Unless you inherit a cottage or are extremely successful, like extreme, no one's getting a house with kids and a cottage.
And the cottage is crazy, yeah.
Impossible.
So do you think it's the baby boomers? Like they were like kind of like they just lived fat on the hog for all these years for their whole generation, and now we're screwed, right? Yep. Like they just got.
And now we're paying for their Social Security too.
And like they're high real estate cost, but eventually they're just gonna have to give the kids to the house to their kids. Like that's what's gonna happen. Like they okay, so they get to say on paper, I have a $20 million house.
They say boomers are some of the most selfish, so a lot of them have done like reverse home mortgages, where they've already spent it all.
Oh my God, dude! Of course.
Like 4 other like mortgages off it. Some will. There is going to be like a several $1 trillion movement through that inheritance. You're not wrong, but don't forget, most people who are doing that, like the Toronto bus driver in like the 80s who bought a house on his like TTC salary and then bought a few more and like whatever. When you could do that, when a house in Toronto was like $20,000, $50,000, like, yeah, most of them don't have it like locked in those like funds and those trusts and stuff. So when they do give their kids houses, there's going to be the fucking capital gains tax on that.
Yeah,
capital gains. They're not going to be able to pay.
Yeah.
So they're gonna actually like lose the house.
It's crazy. It's kind of like how university, like you get a bachelor's degree, and then everyone got a bachelor's degree, and then that just became like normal. Like it doesn't even get you a better job. It's just like going to high school. A house, it used to be like I'm gonna get a house to make an extra $80,000 or make extra money, but now it's like I have to get a house just to keep up. Like with the house, I'm paying my bills, or like not even. Some people are now the mortgage rates went up. Dude, some people have like we know people who have like 4 or 5 pieces of real estate. The mortgage payments are like $80,000, but the rental income is only like $42,000. So they're just like, what the fuck? Every year, per year. So every year they got to
buy a house so that you save money, because renting is like your mortgage should be basically what it would cost to rent. So you might as well.
No, but with the mortgage rates going up, to 5%, the mortgage now that basically means that's why the rents are like way up. Because when the interest rate goes up,
it's not the only reason why, man. It's greed. It's because it's their job.
What?
And it's like it's not the only reason that the rents have gone up. Because
no, it's not the only reason, but in a very real
up and up disproportionately.
It has been. But this last
with wages.
This last rate hike, it's literally like the difference between like think of a guy who buys like 4 or 5 houses as like investment property. His rent was like whatever 40,000. And it covered a $40,000 mortgage. Now that $40,000 mortgage is now like 60, 70. Sometimes it's like,
oh yeah, you're gonna have to go up. Yeah,
it's gonna go up, and then they're trying to go to the tenants. The tenants are like, you can't, you're not allowed. But like, I think people are saying in the next 6 to 8 months, people are gonna walk away from houses. It's gonna hit that like, good. Yeah. What are you gonna do? I don't know what people look stressed, man. People look so worried that I know that are like, dude, you don't have like 60, 80,000 extra. It's like a grown man's salary that you got to now pay into the house. It was supposed to pay you money, but now there's a lot of people that are like, it's just like a waiting game now. 60, 80,000, they thought they were ahead. So a lot of these boomers, I think they're just going to lose their real estate like that because they can't really afford it. Now that the interest rates have gone up, they can't really afford it. So people are saying 6 to 8 months, there should be a real estate crash, or like at least a lot of people walking away from real estate that they just can't afford anymore.
We almost need this war just to like balance shit out.
I've heard a lot of people with that theory that it's just every now and then it's time for war, and then you have to fight and just everyone has to like rage up and like
there'll be less people, and then like even if you're like you can't be on the fence anymore, you almost have to pick. It forces you to pick something and run with it, and then it forces everyone's ideas to like really battle each other. And it's almost like, look, if we all got drafted and just all had to go fight this war, we wouldn't have to worry about like rent and price of groceries and. It's like, yeah, it's like it almost just like just take the stress of life away. Let me just focus on. I just got a war. Maybe I'll die. Maybe I won't. We'll see. But let me just go fight this war. I don't have to think about like rent and moving and get to travel. I've always wanted to see. They'll feed you. They'll feed you. I travel. I get to see. I get to see the ocean. We all need like a big break. Yeah. Yeah, in this economy, dude, people want to go. There's some people that are coming out of jail and they're like, I want to go to jail because it's cheaper. Like I can't afford the rent. Yeah. There's this really good series of movies. It's comedy movies in Spain. This character, he's kind of like a way worse, greasy, but like almost like an Austin Powers. His name's Torrente. Yeah. I think there's 3, maybe 4 movies. The first and second are really good. Like the second's the best. First was really good. Third and fourth kind of dropped off, but I think it's the fourth that has maybe the third that has Alec Baldwin in it too. Anyways, nothing to do with the story, but the very beginning, it's Spain, right? And it's like Spain was they're still going through economic nightmares, and at the beginning, it's like a prison in Spain, and there's all these people like almost like rioting, and you think it's like the prisoners trying to get out, but it's actually no, it's people who are fighting for a spot to get in. Oh my god. They're just like so hungry and what a like, suffering. Look, I have the document. 3 rapes and 4 murders. Fuck. Please, you have to let me in. Oh my god. They're like, I'll kill him right now. No, we need at least 4 rapes right now. Like no. You. The streets are okay with you. You're that's crazy, right? People are fighting to get in. That's wild, dude. Free healthcare. Yeah, join the military, like these ads. I should join, I should join. Dude, that became a military recruitment ad. You're like, all that like anti-war talk, and then you're... ads here. What's up? The ads, the cringe ad. It's like, dude, all the anti-war talk, and by the end, you got pro-war at the end. You're pro, like, join the military, man. It's easier, it's cheaper. Don't listen to the Psyops. Let government take care of you. Join the military. I just mean like there is like a little bit of like a seduction to just like 100%, dude. It feels like you're going to. It feels like you're going camping. It feels like you're going to boot camp, like boys camp, like a Boy Scouts. It feels like a kid goes to Boy Scouts. How much harder is Army? It just seems like at my age, it just feels like I would love the discipline. I would love the consistency. They take care of everything. It's like it sounds great. Oh yeah, there is an element of like I don't care. You can be the most anti-war, anti-imperialist, anti-whatever. It's like you finish boot camp and you're just like in uniform, like waiting for your bus or whatever. And you're like, if everything else fails, I can just do this forever. Yeah. It's like, it's a very, I don't have to think about what I wear. But I heard they pay like nothing and there's no veterans pay. Well, what, America or Canada?
In
Canada
America.
pays one of the, America, I don't know. America, too, their salary says it's low, like this, but then they get a bunch of other benefits, like in money. Like they get a bunch of money through, so it's like there's like a this allowance, that allowance, housing, that, so it all adds up. It's okay. Canada is one of the best Western paid militaries. I think Australia is the best.
Right.
We're up there, but I mean, what's enough? Like it's this day and age. Like
Chase Cotton says, if
I'm just
the
saying
issue,
that as a person looking at publicly available website info,
yeah,
it's not enough. You start at like 33 or something.
33, right? Like that seems low, dude. 33,
before
Jesus.
taxes. Like I mean, yeah, if you're in New Brunswick, you can I guess do okay. If you're in Toronto, you're dead.
But then they cover all your
Like
expenses,
3
no?
other jobs.
They don't give you the expenses. They don't pay for the hotel, like your living and your thing.
Depends what job you're doing. Like depends.
Right.
If you're reg forces, yeah, but still.
Chase Cotton says, if the issue is old people holding wealth, we don't need another war. We just need a real pandemic, and we need to keep the world open. Basically, like what
there at the very beginning of COVID. I remember I didn't really like this take. It was a little scary and a little mean, but there were a lot of people who were like, "Fuck it! Like this thing's killing old people. Like we're all gonna own homes soon." Like, and they called it "boomer remover."
The boomer remover.
I thought that was a little bit mean, but there is. I mean, look, the meanness comes from a place of like desperation. People are fucking.
Dude, so the boomers aren't even going to give their kids a house.
I mean, people want to have a life. Like, I want to have kids.
Yeah.
I'm not saying kill those. I'm not saying call the old people, but like
spread it out. You got to spread it.
Got to spread it, baby.
You got to spread it.
No political will. I mean,
yeah.
Right now, the conservatives are they're trying to get in, so they'll say everything. They'll blame the housing.
I know, yeah.
The housing being bad.
But I'm sure they're scumbags.
Are they going to build like a bunch of social housing for
everyone?
No.
They don't
call
believe
that communist, and they'll be like, well, no, we're going to cut budgets. So it's the same thing. I'm not even saying I like one over the other. I don't really think our current guy, Trudeau's, done the best job. I think he's a little bit like weird, a little in terms of like just how he talks to people. Seems a little out of depth with most people. That's just me as a person.
Well, he was at the G20.
Saying that as a private citizen on my own time.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know if Poilievre's going to be any better. I mean, like I said, I feel like we're just all center right.
I think they're 98% the same. Like they're going to be the same. That's why I don't understand people who fight over them so much.
Like the landlord class, like even NDP, most of the NDP, their members are like small-time landlords. Really? And I don't blame them. That's the way that we make money in Canada. It's like, honestly, it's like one of the only viable ways to get up in class, like through the class wall.
Yeah.
It's one of the only ways is like you start off with a property and if you're smart about it, leverage it, whatever.
But not anymore. People are.
It's kind of the only way.
Not anymore. The real estate, that interest rate bump, it like
not
kills.
Anymore, but like the last 20 years.
Last 20, 30 years for sure, 100%.
Yeah,
and that basically ruined the market. Like they basically went up in class by like upping all the value, and now everyone else is fucked.
What else is there? What other way is there? Like most people aren't going to be lawyers. You can't just have everyone be a lawyer.
Yeah.
Most people aren't going to be doctors. Most people aren't going to be engineers. And look, I think there should be much more doctors and engineers too. Do we have the funding to pay for a lot more doctors? No. So even then, they'll probably go to the States.
Yeah.
And just not everyone can do it. Do we have a bunch of like countrywide engineering projects? Not really. So even those are like, not every engineer is going to get hired either.
Yeah, man.
But those jobs with the like earning power, they're rare. I mean, most degrees, even higher education. I know so many masters and PhDs who work the same bars I worked at. So I stopped my BA halfway through. I'm like, I'm making the same or more because I get really good tips. I'm really good at this job. Basically the same or more than like these PhDs and masters.
Dude,
so what the fuck am I doing?
They were working at the bar with you?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, because they didn't get hired in their field, and it's kind of a better job. That's why, ironically, I kind of want to go back to school now.
Yeah.
In my late years, I kind of want to go back just to have it. If it gets me more opportunity, cool. But
well, the military sounds like it gives that to you. The military sounds like it gives that. It gives you options to go into class. Isn't it like a class? Isn't it like being in university? You can take classes, you can move up, but they pay you. No?
you're talking about me and the reserves, I don't really like talking too much about it just because I don't want to be like, you know, I'm a private citizen on my own time right now. But no, that's, I mean, there are programs in the forces in Canada. There's like a paid education thing, if that's what you're talking about.
Right. Okay, cool.
It's not just like automatic or whatever. That's like a whole program you have to enter.
No, I've looked into the reserves thing too, and it just seems like once you're in there, there's like all these classes you can take. You can travel around, do cool stuff. It seems like, I don't know. Seems similar.
Yeah, there's a lot of, you know, there's a lot of opportunity. I like, there's a lot of opportunity. I like that I'm in the reserves. It's cool. I just don't want to. Yeah. I'm not hiding that I'm in it.
All good. No. All good, man. We don't talk about
that. You know what I mean? Like, it's, I'm not really.
That's okay.
There's like people whose job it is to talk about that stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
no. You don't talk about it. No.
No. I mean, I know there's one educational thing where it's like they'll pay for all your school.
Yeah.
But then you owe, for every year of school, you owe them 2 years of full-time service. So 8 years. I personally, if I go to school, I'll do it on my own. I don't think that's necessarily for me.
Yeah, 8 years of service seems like a lot. Yeah.
Also, like, while you're in school, they pay you a salary of $27,000. I think it might have gone up, but that's like really hard. That's less than the starting. Like, if you're a non-officer, like an NCM, the starting is like 33 or 35 or whatever before tax.
Right.
So you'd actually be making even less while you're a student for 4 years. Wow. So I don't think that's for me.
Not a lot of options, but
earlier too, I wasn't trying to recruit like war, and that's not the stance of the government of Canada, which I'm not like able to speak on. Like
no, I was joking, dude. I was joking. You were just saying like. Obviously. We're just saying like we're so poor that it's like join the army or go to jail. You know what I mean? We're talking about it in reference to like going to jail, going to the army. It's like, oh, at least the government takes care of you. Like the economy is so bad that it could just.
I just meant militaries in general. Yeah. I meant in general, like there's a very big seduction to just like, and I get it personally, but even before that, I kind of comprehend like, yeah, just like, even if it's not the best money or conditions or whatever, it's like you got your place. You just having a uniform, you know, like the Zuckerbergs of the world, like he says he kind of basically wears the same thing every day.
Yeah, it's like you have a meaning, you have a purpose.
Put a lot of mental attention into like, what am I going to wear? I'm going to get this outfit going.
Yeah.
What does it say about that? And it is a lot easier to just
It just gives people anxiety. They're like, just tell me what to do. I don't want to think about it. Just this is it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. No, I get it, man.
I did mean as a society, it's almost like that's because, you know, war pumps up societies. Like economies.
Yeah, that's true.
And I don't know if that's the end game with the whole Russia-Ukraine thing in terms of like, maybe we just need the fucking economic boom.
I think they just want to break up Russia and take the resources. Like they just want to have like, they want to take over that resource market. They don't want, there is that whole talk too behind the scenes.
They're taking over Ukraine right now. BlackRock is buying up Ukraine.
Yeah, true.
But we were talking about the U.S. Recruitment thing. Like, you got that video?
Which one?
The one with the like, these are my parents.
Oh yeah.
Let's show these.
Yeah, let's take it. Let's do the ads, and then I gotta get out of here. This is interesting. I mean, this is wild how like good they're getting at recruitment videos. Like the recruitment videos, it does feel a little bit like they're just doing like they're trying to recruit kids or something, which is weird. But this is like a recruitment ad that we found. Very silly.
Well, it's just like, I feel like they're recruiting because like, again, I don't want to speak out of line. I will say in Canada, our recruitment system, from what I can tell, it's very wholesome. It's very like nothing too, like that Luhan thing. I don't know if that's sanctioned recruitment or not, but like, we can't just post like anything we want on TikTok and be like, I'm in the military, like playing with guns. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it seems like Americans in the military can just like meme all they want, post stuff at work.
Well, it sounds like they have a strong like entertainment media department who has like at this point has pulled the strings to be like, we're not gonna let bureaucracy get in the way. We're gonna, because dude, remember those old 1950s American movies we saw? Like they're very cutting edge, dude. They had the best documentarians making those movies like Why We Fight.
Didn't Coppola work on one of them?
I don't know Francis Coppola, but Frank Capra did, and Frank Capra was
Frank
huge.
Capra, and
Yeah.
Disney made their cartoons.
Yeah, Disney made the cartoons.
Soldiers.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
It's so good, eh? This is the original. I don't think you've seen it.
I don't think I've seen it. The Calling. Wow.
So well made.
This is the story of a soldier who operates your nation's Patriot missile defense
Oh, I've
systems.
seen this,
Yeah, this one. There goes the bomb. I hope it doesn't kill too many people. What a silly. It's like Felicity. You know, like the show Felicity.
Where are those firing?
I know, right? Like she's just like, oh, another day in the life of a young girl in the military.
Office job.
Like it's just like, just like it's gonna
shooting like some poor village.
It's gonna like some village, like some woman with a hijab on. It's like,
that was like in Iraq or something.
For sure, yeah. It looks very Iraq. Like it's in
like bombing a hospital.
It's like
she's can we play it?
Yeah, dude. It's amazing. She's like in Iraq somewhere.
Of a soldier who operates.
And it's so like Felicity. She's like, this is the story of a soldier who operates your nation's Patriot missile defense.
Your nation's Patriot missile defense systems. It begins in California. With a little girl raised.
Yeah.
By two moms.
But raised by two moms.
They just use so much social justice to like justify.
This is what I mean. See, this is what we're talking about with the Ukraine thing, and this is like I don't like this because you're equating someone who operates a missile system with like LGBT. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's what does one have to do with the other?
Yeah. You think like lesbians are like, come on, man, don't use us
by the
to.
way, I'm not saying if you
don't whitewash your
system,
war.
You're a bad person.
But because it's a real person, you can't. It's just like, well, you're just. It's like they're looking for people. It's like, oh, you got a lesbian. Let's bring that in. You know what I mean? It's like they didn't write the script. I think it's a real person who had lesbian parents.
Oh, come on, bro. It's probably not a real person. It's an actor.
You're right. It just says Emma.
Said it's a real person.
Emma, raised by two loving mothers. Emma excelled in school, but. So this is just them, yeah. Okay,
I don't like LGBTQ stuff or anyone being used as a prop.
Yeah, you're using the gay community to whitewash a war. Like, I mean, you destroyed Iraq, and you're like, hey, it's like, well, how do you feel about Iraq? Like, you killed 1 million people in Iraq. It's like, well, we had a very progressive hiring policy. Even if your parents are lesbians, we let them in. It's like, you think they let them in? It's like, dude, what does that have to do? You killed.
I should hope so.
You killed 1 million people.
Although I had a fairly typical childhood, took ballet, played violin, I also marched for equality. I like to think I've been defending freedom from an early age.
Oh, wow. That's nice.
When I was 6 years old, one of my moms had an accident that left her paralyzed. Doctors said she might never walk again. But she tapped into my family's pride to get back on her feet, eventually standing at the altar to marry my other mom. With such powerful role models, I finished high school at the top of my class.
You think this is made up, eh? I mean, I guess, yeah. Like, I don't know.
What?
It's so dramatic to make that up, to be like, and then my mom got paralyzed. It's like such a side story. It's like, just tell us that you were in the military. Like, what is this? Like, then she got paralyzed, but then she used her fighting spirit to keep going.
It could be real, too. It could just be real. But no, I think it's like a perfect, like, someone calculated this.
Yeah, to make you...
Paralyzed.
Dude, there's an old
marriage, two moms, and she's like, oh, it's very typical.
There's a very old movie, dude, that I saw.
If you had lesbian parents in the 90s, that's amazing.
Yeah, that's great.
That's so progressive, but it was very different at the time, so it was no way typical.
No, this is all good now.
Typical isn't good. Typical is usually boring. It was obviously you definitely had free-thinking parents. My parents took me to protests for all sorts of things too. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Why typical? That's extraordinary. Yeah, and they probably dealt with some backlash too. Not everyone was probably like cool about it, so that also made it atypical. Like, why you gotta like?
Well, it's like at this point, it's like you know that your cause made it when it's like the military recruitment video is like, look, we got a lesbian. It's like it's over now. You know what I mean? Like
she goes. I did ballet. I played violin. It's trying to be like, look, I wasn't brainwashed by these lesbians into playing lacrosse only.
Yeah,
Like,
or
it's like you can see how careful they're being about being like, hey, just because it's a lesbian couple didn't mean they made her only play lacrosse and like made her a butch. Like they, we don't believe, because like there's Americans, a lot of them are like, oh, like I don't know if I want a trans or a gay person like raising my kid. They're gonna make them into fruits. So this is their way of being like, no, we know that like lesbians can just like raise a normal, like a woman, and like it won't affect how she's brought up. She's still gonna be.
Yeah. By the way, we got $5 from.
Saying a lot in this.
We got $5 from CB Applegate. Says FYI, Patriot missile defense system has been proven to be useless against Russian hypersonic KH-47M2 rockets. Well, that better not be Putin propaganda there, bud. Thank you for the dono, dude. Appreciate you.
And see how it was like, we go to the gay protest, we defend freedom, and now I'm defending freedom by sending these missiles off in the Middle East.
In the Middle East, yeah, in this
like,
desert.
How are you equating these two? Like, what is it?
Yeah, they want to give it that righteousness. They want to be like, I did this, I did that. Like I protested, I fought for civil rights. Now I bombed these Iraqis.
It also feeds into this narrative that like, because they're lesbian, they must be like they must inherently like be on the side of good and like you know what I mean, like right, there's like a righteousness. It's like that takes away their autonomy too, because what, like a lesbian can't be right wing, a lesbian can't be conservative,
dude.
Maybe they're two lesbian women who are both like, yeah, war in Iraq.
Yeah, they're hard as fuck, dude.
I want you to go kill them. Like, you don't know. Like, what? They're not allowed. Like, you're just assuming that they're gonna be like super like loving. And
it's like two.
Not that they're not loving, that they're super. Left or something.
No. You know what this is? It's like It's like a bunch of conservative, like right wing rednecks get into an office and they go, "What do we do? What if we had a recruitment video where she's raised by lesbians?" Then we'd get all of them. Like they're just like, make the most lefty. It's like they read the script. They're like, make it more lefty. Can you make them lesbians? Make it more lefty. Make her do what's this? Football? Take out the football. Make her do ballet. We want it to be all the like. We can get. You're the most feminine, raised by two women, feminine, and we still want you in the military. It's like basically they're trying to recruit like the other side or reaching across or whatever.
Women. But as graduation approached, I began feeling like I'd been handed so much in life. A sorority girl stereotype. Sure, I'd spent my life around inspiring women, but what had I really achieved on my own?
Wow.
One of my sorority sisters was studying abroad in Italy. Another was climbing Mount Everest. I needed my own adventures, my own challenge.
So first of all, it's also like, it's also showing like a class thing here too. She's in
yeah,
a sorority.
You're rich.
One's just like lancing around Italy. One's on Everest. Like, these are rich people.
They're all rich. Yeah. No, they're
rich people.
Two lesbians raising a daughter. They're gonna have money. They're gonna have good jobs. Maybe, I don't know. Like
that's the dual income kind of thing.
Yeah.
After meeting with an army recruiter, I found it. A way to prove my inner strength and maybe shatter some stereotypes along the way.
Shatter the stereotypes. We can murder too.
Woman getting ahead in life.
Army Corps.
Yeah, look, it could be real. What's that?
Sorority legacy, like.
Yeah, it's like we want to shatter the stereotype. We can murder too. We do war crimes too. Let's shatter the stereotype.
Well, I'm a Malone Lord, and I answered my calling.
What calls you? Jeez, dude. There's one more.
This is the one I thought with the other music. What was that?
No, that's hold on, this one.
That's so, I mean, yeah, like I feel like they just have like 10, 12, you know, like the old quote from like it's been attributed to some CEO of Coca-Cola like back in the fucking whatever time.
Yeah.
Where he goes, only 50% of our ads work. Problem is we don't know which 50%.
Yeah, it's true. It's a mess.
I feel like there's this kind of ad, there's the Psyop ad, there's like the woo creepy, we run the world, and then it's like no, we're just nice and we're like we're totally like everyone friendly, and then there's like hot girl with fucking tits out and guns, like join. Like there's 18 different ways. They got video games, they got all this different stuff, so it's like wherever you are, whoever you are, we're gonna hit you on your level.
Yeah, we gotta take. They gotta take everyone.
It's very smart, to be honest.
It's very smart. There's so much money. Dude, this one looks sick.
I remember this was the Jamaican music. It's got like a Caribbean music kind of vibe to it.
Split cells. This is amazing, dude.
Imagine it was like create a biovirus.
Yeah. Oh, and then they got the guy controlling everyone.
Sending the propaganda.
You see that? That's the Jamaican light up on Babylon in the sky. That's the music. Dude, it's so Bob Marley. It's like light up the sky with the bomb, then Babylon. Dude, it's like that.
Babylon, by being Babylon.
That is the most peace-loving music, though. It's like they took the most peace-loving music and they gotta jam it. Do you think they just bought that? I wonder if that's a real singer, but I don't know. Or if they just bought it. Like they could have just bought it from there's like people that sell music like that.
Yeah, I mean they got a whole media department.
Yeah. Damn, dude. What a great ad, man. It's so well made. What's your warrior? GoArmy.com. Dude, it's like soon the world's just going to be that. It's going to be like all military, maybe. It does feel like we're moving toward, like creeping towards that kind of like, you know. But it's like you said, man, a lot of people are saying it's like maybe it's time to just reset the world, you know? Refight.
Like, I don't want it, but like there's a part of me that's just like, oh, life would be so much simpler. I didn't have to fucking think about all this shit and just do my one job in the military, and we're just at war, and there's some sort of after war the world's gonna be houses are gonna be more affordable somehow.
No, I think a lot of people might be thinking like that. Like they say that when as you're ramping up to war, you need to be like kind of like a depressed economy, because if people are having too much fun in life, even Osho says this a lot, where it's like he's like you have to like suppress love and like a loving thing out of your culture before you can expect people to go to war. Because if they're having a great time and they're like loving each other, it's like, why go to war? It's like, I'm too happy in life, I'm not gonna go to war. It's like you have to like first set up the people with like destroy their lives a little bit, and then it's like, well, what else are you gonna do? You gotta traumatize them a little bit, you know? So they're like, there's nothing else. Like you can sit here and never have sex and don't have kids and nothing. It's like go fight. It'll mean something, or you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, that is like a big thing though, I think. It's like as
even if you don't fight, it's just like even if you're just in an office, it's just like, okay, I show up every day. Okay, it's time to eat.
Yeah,
okay,
man.
Food time, and then okay, I have my time off. I'll go to like a little.
Yeah, dude. Yo, I gotta go, but thanks for coming. Yo, let's plug our shows.
We get all the topics. Yeah, so September 28th.
Orangeville.
Bible 1863.
There's an email in the comment section for the September 28th show, and all the shows have email. There's an email for one, and there's a link for the other three to buy tickets. Tickets are going fast. This is a poster for the October 20th show. But sorry, go on. I cut you off.
Yeah, no, that's it. I was just gonna say all the shows. So September 28th, Kincardine, Ontario. Revival 1863. That's info at revival1863.com for tickets. The tickets are all down there. The links are all down there. October 20th, we're going to be in Kincardine. First show is half sold. Second show going fast, so move on it. Bayfield, just one show only, 1 p.m. Bayfield Brewing Co. And that is about 50% sold. And then October 22nd in Toronto, baby, coming home.
Scary Good Comedy.
That just started selling, so
that's
lots
amazing.
of time, but don't wait too long because it's Scary Good Comedy. And that's going to be amazing.
Banger lineup, dude. Right downtown. It's going to be a great lineup. Yo, thanks for coming, everyone. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Have a good night. Peace.